Hey, I'm Nashi.
I'm Rezlar.
And I'm Frosty. Welcome back to the Value Pack.
Hold on, I have to gear check Nash right now. Alright, that is some bull jabber. Dude, he CC'd me how to dance. What's happening? Rezlar!
People look at you like you're crazy, and they refuse to admit that it's pay to win, and just scream that it's pay to convenience! It's pay to convenience!
Big money, big money, big money,
Big money! Oh shit, we got it! We fucking got it! And welcome everybody to another episode of the Value Pack. I'm gonna say it, and I'm not gonna jinx it because it has to happen. Shorter episode this week. Now, I'm not jinxing it because it unfortunately has to happen. Frosty's got to go really soon. So it's just going to be that way. Naya, she's also got some IRL stuff to do, and I'm still in the process of moving. So legitimately, shorter show today. That's not me jinxing it. Has to happen. So we got to get into some arena changes. Frosty has put the countdown timer to nothing. So we're going to talk about that, and also some Lost Ark stuff. But first, before we get to any of that, got to thank our lovely patrons, Garmot.com, Hawaiian, Melt on Your Mouth, Minaria, and Slide Tech, as well as a special thanks to all the Twitch subscribers on our channels. You can find all the links to all that stuff down below. All right, boys, hello.
What's up?
What's up?
I like that. I like the synchronized. Sup.
We practice this.
All right, so first on the docket is arena changes. Now, perhaps, Frosty, maybe you can explain this to me.
Yes.
Because I am very confused by these changes. I read them, and I was confused, and I was expecting you to come to their defense in our group chat, and you did not. And so that means either you also are confused, or you were just looking to straight up demolish me here on the podcast. So please explain.
You're about to get destroyed. All right.
Okay.
So we're doing a point system. We did this on stream the other day. We're going to do a point system, go through these bullet points real quick, and we're going to tally the whole thing up, all right? So I'm going to pull out my notepad. This point system is you gain a point for a positive change, you lose a point for a negative change. Neutral, no gain or loss if the change is either not understandable or you have to like see it. So for example, if they just say bug fixes, obviously that's positive, but what does that mean, So first point here, we're going to start halfway down this list before we get to the big thing. First point, the attack speed, cast speed, crit strike, and move speed levels within the arena are automatically going to be level 5 +1, right? That's a positive. All the stats should be level 5 regardless of your gear. Going in there, like if you remember Rez, when we brought Hedon on, he was saying the meta was going to be a pen often. So now that won't need to be a thing. So there's +1 point for PA on that. Good thinking. Next, the total number of rounds has been changed from a best of 3 to a best of 5. Now this one you could go either way. I do think, and Rez, I'm curious your opinion on this from when we played last week, but the best of 3 on paper seems good, but I think BDO is just a really fast game, so it went by pretty quick. So best of 5, considering that you're dealing with a load screen and et cetera, I think feels okay. Your thoughts?
Yep, I agree. Positive change. The best of 3 was way too fast, especially with how long you spent in the loading queue and all that stuff, which hopefully that gets fixed. But even if it doesn't, the time of actually participating is way too low.
Yeah.
So yeah, good change. Best of 5.
When entering the arena, the time and weather have been improved so that it is applied as a sunny day during the day. Now, I don't know if this means that it's not going to be sunny when it's nighttime, or if it's always going to be sunny, and this is just a translation thing. I'm going to leave this one as neutral. I think this one is supposed to be a visibility fix. So we're just going to leave that at a +0. Neither a positive or a negative. Why is that?
I think having dynamic weather would make it more interesting.
I agree. I just think that everyone's feedback was that it was difficult to see.
Yeah, but that can be fixed with character clarity instead of just, I don't know. I guess, like, I get where you're coming from. I just think that one of the biggest issues is arena diversity, and we're taking more, what little arena diversity we had, we're taking that away now. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that. This is why I say it's like, I think their intention's positive, it'll help some people. Some people probably don't like it or don't care. So I'm going to leave this as neutral because I think it could go either way. The functionality to hide the identity of the camouflage in the arena has been changed so that it does not apply. Now, I do think it's hard giving them a point, but we have to. This is based in a vacuum. It's hard to give them a point for this because it shouldn't have been a thing to begin with, but we're going to give them a point for it anyway because we did our test on Monday and this got fixed on Thursday.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
no,
good.
that's fine.
So give them a point.
I mean, I have no problem with them making a mistake as long as they fix it, which they have. So,
The starting section of the rank score has been changed from 1200 to 1050. I think because none of us have actually laddered. I don't know how impactful or what that means, so that's a nothing change to me. The range of points that fluctuates when winning or losing has been adjusted to be higher, so it's more impactful when you win or lose. This is, I think, a positive. I mean, you know, like, I hate to compare it to League, but you know when you get up to those, like when you're right about to get where your actual peak is, how you start gaining, what, like 6 LP or 10 LP versus 20 per win, it can feel awful, and I think the system that they had was starting us off at earning like a very low amount, and it doesn't really feel good when you do, because then it just feels like a grind. So that I'll give a +1. The last match results have been reset. I don't know what that means at all. The last
that probably just
match
means
results
next
have been
time we
reset.
log in, we won't be able to see our matches from the previous test.
Oh, okay.
Wait, were you guys able to before?
I mean,
yeah, there was a match history. Yeah.
The waiting time has been improved to skip after all adventurers have entered the arena. Thank God. So when the I'm pretty sure last week when we were testing it, Rez, we were not waiting for opponents. I'm pretty sure we were all sitting in there with 2 full teams.
You think so?
I really, really think so. Maybe sometimes there was like a disconnect or whatever, but I think a lot of the times both teams were in there like wondering what's going on.
Yeah, there was a few
maybe.
instances that you guys were just waiting on. Like Rezler had one moment where he disconnected and he was coming back.
Yeah,
And
that
then there
one
was
I
some
And then
understand.
I was
didn't
invisible
have-
for my teammates.
Yeah.
There was a couple times you guys only fought like one player or two, right?
Yes, that happened. I mean, if someone disconnects, they don't just replace the player. So it's like they try to wait, and then if they don't get them back in, the player's out.
Yeah, makes sense.
Let's see. A team display has been added to Solare's window team UI. I'd have to see what that is to give it a +1, so I'm just going to leave it neutral. But more information is better, always. If a match ends in a draw, the result will be displayed as a draw, also neutral change. The cheering motion of the character when winning a match has been added. That is a +1 because last week, I don't know if you felt it, Rez. Yeah, there was nothing at the end. It was like,
jarring.
I guess the match is over now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a bit jarring.
I also hope that they add the kill notification. Oh, the kill notification is in there. I almost feel like they need to add a kill notification for allies. Like if your teammate kills someone, do a different sound effect and show it, like pop it up.
Well, it's just have a kill notification in general. It doesn't matter who kills them. Like
A
how
kill
Lost Ark
feed.
does it.
They need a kill feed.
Yeah, kill feed.
Yeah,
Like in
because-
Nodors or
Yeah, because Lost Ark Arena does that, so it makes it easier to determine if like you guys split up from each other. Like
Right.
someone does a 1-on-1 and then you're doing a 2-on-2 or whatever. You can at least know if you need to get back to them or not based on that information.
The last bullet point before we move back to the top is the Solare Arena's related UI and bug fixes have been fixed. So that one also I'm just going to leave as a neutral because it's so vague. All right, so in total now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have 6 points in the positive, right? So starting out with the top, the following changes have been applied to Solaris Arena contents. Bullet point number 1. The maximum attack power, damage reduction, accuracy, and evasion stat limits of the total stats applied to the characters in Solaris Arena have been removed. So this, I'm going to just right off the bat give it a +1 because they heard that we don't think the caps are good. And they went and made a change because of that feedback. I think everyone felt like the caps don't make any sense, especially with the way it affects add-ons and your own personal class buffs, debuffs, etc., etc. So that's a +1. And then the second bullet point Among the character's total stats, attack power, damage reduction, accuracy, and evasion have been changed to be applied at a rate of 25% of the actual value. So when you hop into the arena, you just instantly get all of those stats reduced by 75%. Now this one we're going to go ahead and give a -7 because it's so atrocious.
Yeah, minus 20 million. How about?
So this leaves them at a net not positive or negative, just right there, right back to neutral. I don't know what this does, Reslar. I have no idea.
Okay, I'm glad you're also so confused.
I wanted to defend this. I wanted to understand this. I wanted to like whatever this was. I was like, okay, because when I first read it, I was like, all right, that's interesting. I got to break down the math here. And we did a little bit of math, and here's what I remember off the top of my head from last week. We broke down a little notepad, and we did a comparison. If Frosty's Kuno hopped into the Arena of Solare with this new rule set, after the stat reduction, I would have about 150 AP and about 105 DR. If a full Pentuvala player entered the arena, after the reduction, they would have about 60 AP and they would have like 70 DR, something like that. So they would have like 40 less. I think it mathed out to they would have 40 less DR than me and 50 less AP. And because they don't even mention HP in here, I also would probably have about 1,500 more hit points than most players that are coming out of seasons or just like getting started. So this doesn't equalize anything. It just, I think it's just a time to kill change, but everyone gets to use their full gear essentially. Like that's how it looks to me on paper. Am I misunderstanding that? How are you guys seeing it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I explained my confusion in the group chat, but basically, like, I'm confused because it seems like once again the masters of pleasing nobody have struck again, and they've now made this arena gear dependent, like real gear dependent.
Full gear now.
Yeah, full real gear dependent, but also not. It's just like, what are you doing? Like at this point, like just make it real gear if you really like. It almost feels like they can't fucking equalize it for some reason.
I ain't gonna defend
it's
it.
weird.
I think it's goofy too, but I think what they're trying to do is allow you to have that at least a little bit of build diversity, and like if you want to have certain stats, you can, but obviously it gets massively reduced. But like if you're using the attack speed enhancement gems in your awakening weapon, for example, those kinds of things will be incorporated into that. Whereas, if you didn't have those kinds of things, you wouldn't have those moving into the arena, correct? Those kinds of little bonuses.
Well, okay, sure. But since we know that they can individually change stats, they now have proved it with this patch. They proved that they can individually change stats regardless of your gear by forcing everyone to have 5 attack, cast, crit, and move speed, right? So everyone's gear, regardless of what they have in their gear, they're going to have level 5 of all of those things. So why not let everyone have completely equalized stats based on their gear, like regardless of their gear, but they have a little caveat that says, however, whatever crystals and artifacts you use will impact your stats, since everyone kind of has access to crystals and artifacts.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to be like, we're leaving some build diversity in there with crystals and artifacts, fine, but your actual gear doesn't really matter. Everyone's going to have like a standard baseline. The only thing you could customize your build with artifacts and gems.
And like I said, I'm not trying to necessarily defend this change.
You're just trying to understand.
I'm just trying, however I can, to understand what they're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, no. We get you. Listen, I know, like, this might suck because it would mean that it would take longer to come out. I really wish they would just develop a similar thing to Lost Ark's Book of Coordination.
Mm-hmm.
True.
They can even steal the name.
Book of Coordination, but with gear, basically. Like, that would be so nice, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, do you want like you have everything the same enhancement level, so like you don't have to like mess with enhancement levels, but it's like, okay, do you want like Griffin or Gaia? Do you want Liebers or Begs? Do you want, like just pick between like these pieces of gear, and then you can go into crystals as well. Like, okay, what crystals do you want in this gear? What crystals do you want in this gear? What add-ons do you want on your skills? And like it can all be done like in this separate UI before you go into the arena, and then when you go into the arena, it applies whatever you selected. That's how Lost Ark does it with the Book of Coordination, and I don't get why that can't happen in this game as well.
They could even take the name. It could be like Tome of Synchronization.
True.
You know what I mean? Just something. Just let us do it, please. If it takes a little longer, but it ends up being good from the start, it's worth it.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
we
agreed.
all want arenas, and yes, they should be made fun of or scoffed at or receive negative feedback by taking as long as they did, because the problem isn't that this part of the development is taking too long, like adding this. The problem is that they didn't start the development until 6 years into the game's life.
Yep. It's been the biggest problem this whole time. Talking about it and not doing it. The same thing with the arena. They talked about it fucking 10 months ago, or technically longer.
But even then, that was too late. Like, to me,
yeah.
Like, I feel like this should have just come with, like, the day RBF was released originally, it should have also had a 3v3.
Yeah, but let's not get too in the weeds of like what should have happened, right?
Well, I'm saying,
I mean, I agree wholeheartedly.
Like, yeah, it's. I'm just saying, it's like, well, it's already taken this long, and it's like, yeah, but that's their fault for waiting too long, not because the actual development of it takes long. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I just want to like differentiate that. Yeah, it's just really, I don't know, man. It's just bad.
So here's what I would say. Like, stop, for the love of God and everything holy in whatever religion that you believe in, please stop doing this halfway thing that will make nobody happy. Like, really, do you think either me or Choice is going to be super excited about this change? Like, you think Choice is going to be like, oh yeah, dude, that's totally fine. I love having my stats reduced by like, cut in half or whatever. You think I'm going to feel good about Choice being able to flex his gear over me in this arena? Neither of us are going to be happy about this change. Like, we'll both be like, well, okay, I guess, but neither of us are going to really be happy with it. It's so weird. Just pick one. In a perfect world, you would have both, but if you can't have both, then just pick one.
I would I would need to see a test, or maybe someone could do math and I just don't understand how numbers work, but I actually don't think this has any, it has very little negative impact on someone that is super geared, because they still have the same ratio of advantage over someone else, because it's not, I mean, I guess because percentage points, so the higher it is, you get fucked more a little bit, so kind of, but the difference between like, when I compared Tuvala to my gear was like 60, like the amount was different. Like if we use two skills into each other between someone that's Pen Tuvala and my gear, even after the reduction, like they just hard lose that. I think in this, the way this is set up, you can just straight up gear check people.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, they just not gonna be able to SA trade.
Hey, I found the room I was looking for.
Maybe they should change this
27 minutes.
Maybe they should change this 25% stat down to 5%. So we all are running around like 11 AP. Where it's like, in the beginning of the game, it's like it kind of doesn't matter. Like if you're just within a couple AP. I don't know, dude. It's so fucking weird.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It feels like the solutions are so obvious, but they're just like, it's so impossible to get in their heads, right? Maybe they legitimately just don't have, like, they don't know about it. Maybe they, like, I don't know what the possible answer could be for why they're not doing it, but it's infuriating because it feels like it's so simple, right? It's the same thing with, like, like again, like the ranked and unranked thing, like allowing people to play with their friends. It feels so simple, but then it's like, but why are they not doing it?
I mean, yeah. I think that's really ultimately going to be the only answer that's going to make everyone happy is that there's a geared version and a non-geared version. That's like a standard trial set type.
Why don't they
situation.
even? We can do two birds with one stone here. We can do two birds with one stone. I know a lot of people are about to hate what I'm about to say, but you can even have the unranked be like be the equalized, and then the ranked be, or wait, no, sorry, opposite. The ranked is equalized, the unranked is gear.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, if we're really that short on devs, which I know like a lot of people are gonna hate that, but I'm trying to find some way of like presenting an answer to this company that seemingly doesn't have like the resources or the time, which I don't know how that's possible, but it's the only answer I can come up with.
Maybe it's hard for them to get to the actual feedback through all the Musa complaints.
Really? Holy shit.
I don't know. Like, someone is suggesting they probably don't want new players to jump in right away like Shadow Arena, but then just set up a minimum rec for level or playtime. Like they did for that one tournament, you needed 100 days. If you really think bots are just going to make accounts or new players, like just make it so your character has to have like 10 days playtime or some shit like that.
And I thought about this after last week's podcast. Whenever I said like, well, why don't we just make like there be a level requirement of like your character has to be 62 or something? And Troy said, well, if you get power level, that can happen instantly, and he's absolutely right. But what if instead of it being like a level thing, you can just make it like a family fame thing or something?
Yeah.
Like there's ways to do this.
Yeah, hopefully I don't know. I'm not really, the thing is I don't know what the feedback is like from other regions too, right? Or
right.
I don't know.
True.
Like it's certainly possible. Maybe we're all like baffled, but it's certainly possible that there are a ton of people with a lot of gear. It's not that it's possible. I know it's happening. I just don't know to what extent. That there's a lot of people with gear that are like, hey, I should be able to use my gear in this new arena, like full gear. Like they're definitely getting that feedback. So maybe it's like tough. Like when you get that feedback, 40% of your player base saying it should be equalized, 40% saying it should be geared, 20% says whatever. Where do you go as a dev, right?
You make both.
Well, I mean, that's the honest solution. What's the problem with having both?
Yeah.
Is it a system?
Again, that goes back to what I'm
issue?
saying. Like the answer is actually really obvious, but it's just weird that they're not seemingly doing it.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. Is that not a really obvious and easy answer to that question? And maybe am I stuck in my own bubble here?
The only thing with both is the logistics of having like matchmaking for two different things. If we don't know how popular it's going to be yet, right? That's the only real argument.
I don't know, man. If you make it good and you make it worth, it'll be populated.
Well, we know it won't be worth, so cut that part out. Yeah, I think no, I don't think capped works. I don't think you can do capped. Capped again just creates too many problems. I think it just needs to be equalized. That's the thing. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. The problem is we can't test this one because they didn't give us a test time or date. Like I would love to see how this feels. Like, look, I will be the first to admit if we go in a battle arena and I could get someone with like full Pentuvala, which is essentially like if that's the minimum rec to enter, that's really not bad, right? Like full Pentuvala is certainly achievable. So if someone can hop in with full Pentuvala, and I hop in with my full gear and we feel like, oh shit, like they can kill me one combo, I have to one combo them, it's fine, then I'll stand corrected. But the stats just don't bear out. So someone earlier said like, oh, well, with full gear, you'd have 100 AP difference. With this reduced gear, you'd only have a 25 AP difference. Like, yeah, except that 25 AP becomes infinitely more important because of how low your gear is. So that 25 AP is gigantic. Look at it.
It's not even just the AP though. It's the HP.
Yeah, the AP,
yeah,
the
which
HP
you
as
brought
well.
up earlier.
But the thing is like in this scenario where I had like 140 AP and the person I was fighting had like 96 and I had 104 DR and they had like 60. I literally have 50% more AP than them. Like the difference is so astronomical that like look at if you're like grinding through different areas in the game. Does anyone remember what it was like fighting pirates at fucking 90 AP versus like 150? You literally don't do damage. It's like someone that has 90 AP against someone with 104 DR and 6,000 HP literally is not going to do anything. At least I don't think. It doesn't seem like they would do anything.
Maybe since the reworks, that's a lot different.
Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, they just need to make it equalized. I can't stress it enough. It's really as simple as that. Make it equalized, and as an added bonus that would make, I think, a lot of people happy is give us a stat slider or something where we could kind of take away stats from one area and add stats to another with a sheet or like the book of coordination.
You mean like the book of coordination where you get 1,000 stats to apply wherever you want them? Crazy.
The tome of cooperation. So you could just if I'm a striker and I'm like, well, evasion matters so much to me. Let me pull off 15 DR and add 25 evasion or whatever the hell the difference would be, you know? Give me just like a stat with some limits so it's not like crazy, but
I liked your original suggestion of the tome of synchronicity. I really like that one. Yeah. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. It could be like, here's you just put it right under the map as a little like Coliseum icon or something. You just adjust it right there. Boom. Done.
Crazy idea. Really revolutionary ideas coming out of Frosty today.
This all just right off the top of my head. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. No influence played into this whatsoever. Just original ideas.
Can we take a moment to actually like evaluate like if they were to pick one over the other instead of just doing both? What are the cons to like, you know, doing the gear versus doing the equalized? I think we all kind of agree that the equalized would be the lesser of the two evils.
I could break it down really simply. One of them is inclusive, the other one's exclusive. Period.
True. Yeah.
Well, but hold on, because that's not a realistic thing to pick between. The realistic thing to pick between is, are they going to do full gear or are they going to do capped?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, I don't know. Right now they're doing full gear with a percentage to make you think it's not full gear.
Yeah. It's so confusing.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I'm genuinely so baffled. Like, do they not know? Are they tight on money right now? Is inflation hitting them hard? Like, I just like to know like why they're not taking these really easy outs. Maybe they know something that we don't. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're looking at their player base numbers and looking at like who participates in Node Wars, who participates in RBF, who goes into Battle Arena, and they just think like, yeah, there's not enough population to make the hard decisions where we make somebody unhappy and we make somebody happy. So we try to make everybody happy. I mean, I don't know. I'm so lost.
They try to make everyone happy without actually making everyone happy.
Right. But it's like, okay, so like, typically speaking, 99% of the time, it's impossible to make literally everyone perfectly happy. So you can either make somebody perfectly happy and make somebody perfectly unhappy, or you can try to kind of placate everybody. And that's what Perlibus has always done, is they try and please the masses. So basically everybody goes, fine. But nobody's really like happy about it. And this is just another one of those things. But I don't know, it's just like the answers to these problems almost require that you just make some tough decisions if it is true that like they're looking at the player base and they just really don't think that there's enough numbers to support having multiple queues.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Then I feel like then they needed to somehow communicate that.
Yeah, you know what? I think everyone would understand if they were like, hey, we want to, like, ask for feedback. Ask it in a formal way. Look, God, I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy. All right, hold on. Let me find this.
Oh boy.
post.
Oh boy, Frosty's turning to the dark side.
No, I just it's
The paycheck's slipping through his fingers.
This is one of the reasons why I think having two MMOs out at the same time that both have a player base and a fan base and momentum is really good for both of the MMOs that
Yeah,
are
it's
existing.
competition.
Yeah, so let me really quickly find this this post. I need like 45 seconds. Oh God, where is this?
So while you're finding that, let me ask you a question, because this is a sentiment that I've been seeing like a lot in a lot of different places. The idea that they won't make it gear equalized because then you won't feel as much of a need to progress, which means you're not getting cronstones, which means costumes aren't selling. Do you guys think that that's their ultimate motive why they don't want to equalize things?
No,
Because I've seen that sentiment a lot. I've seen that sentiment a lot, and I'm curious what you guys think.
That would be very foolish if that was the case.
Yeah, I don't think so, but
they already have plenty for reason the players to push their gear. They don't need more.
Okay. So I'm gonna try my best to explain this because I know not I know not everyone is not everyone plays Lost Ark, all right? And not so I'm gonna try to explain this in a way that makes sense to even players that only play BDO. So when I say they should be asking for feedback, this is something that the Lost Ark GMs and CMs did this past week that I thought was awesome. So first, with the negative, they released a new piece of content that 99.99% of the player base cannot participate in because they do not have the gear. And one of the reasons they don't have the gear is because our version of Lost Ark has more difficult enhancement rates all the way from tier 1 to tier 2 to tier 3 content. So beginning, middle, and end game content. Our enhancement rates are harder than every other region. And a lot of people have been complaining about this. Be like, dude, come on, increase the enhancement rates. And then some people kind of defend it. It's like, well, just slow down and enjoy the game and whatever. Doesn't really matter what side you're on. The cool thing that the Lost Ark GM/CM team did is open up a forum post and say, hey guys, we hear complaints from a lot of players about the honing rates. We want to get your feedback on how you feel about them. Please keep it constructive, and whatever feedback we'll get, we'll forward it to the devs. Is that so hard to do? They're like, hey, we understand some of you think the enhancement rates are too hard. Some of you think they're not. We want to get an open discussion with you guys, get your feedback on how you actually feel about it. And then we'll let you know what happens. We'll forward that feedback and let you guys know what happens. Why can't the BDO devs be like, hey, on every single region we release a forum post, we want to get your guys' feedback. Do you want to use your full gear in 3v3 arenas, or do you think that the gear should be completely equalized to make it fair, or whatever? They don't even have to like skew it in any way. Do you want the gear to be the same across the board, or do you want to use your full normal gear set? Which one would make you happier? Just poll the communities.
You don't even need like direct feedback. Just have a poll out, like just have the community vote on it. That way you don't have to deal with all the constructive feedback bullshit. And they have done stuff like this before for other things in the past, right? But
kind of, but like way behind the scenes. I'm talking about like they'd tell the GMs and CMs of every community to ask, not like, hey, if you were a Maywa in this one tournament 4 years ago,
exactly.
you can talk
We're gonna
to
host a tournament to decide who can share feedback.
Yeah.
It's super. Just do that, please. Like, just ask for feedback. If you don't know what to do, be like, well, the reason you're stuck between going full gear or equalize is because you're afraid that the community is going to react poorly. Why don't you just ask the community? Put up a post on Reddit, put up a post on the forums for every single region on the website. put it up on like the notices or the GM note. Be like, hey guys, we want this to be as awesome as possible, and we want your feedback on how you prefer it done. There's multiple ways to go about Arena. Gear's a big part of the game, and we know that, and we want to find out do you prefer this to include your full gear? Do you wish it was just completely equalized? You know, whatever. Give your feedback or ideas, and we'll take it into consideration. That'd be great.
And that takes all the pressure off them, because then the community decided.
Yeah, then they could blame us. Exactly. Then they can blame us. Like, you made your bed, you fucks. Yeah, I don't know. No, Vapor Patience. We cannot agree that if it was equalized, we would all just complain about class imbalance. All anyone does all day, every day, regardless of gear, is complain about class imbalance. If something is happening, if someone is sitting in the middle of the ocean and they're like, I don't want to open this water bottle, there's a lot of pressure on it, and if I open it, I'm going to get splashed, it doesn't make any sense. They are already inundated with nothing but complaints about balance. Stop saying they won't do it because of complaints about balance. All they hear is about balance. That's it. That is 99% of their feedback. In stupid tickets that are supposed to be for technical issues, they just hear about balance.
You think that they're not getting Musa complaints out the wazoo right now? You think that's gonna start with equalized gear? That's already going on, brother.
Do you not think 99% of the emails they receive are labeled "sucks Zerker is a problem"? Yeah. No, that's not why they're not doing it. They're not doing it because they're afraid people will feel like the time and effort at least my guess, one that makes way more sense, is they're afraid people feel like their time and effort that they put into their gear won't matter. But they need to understand that for an arena like that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't need to have gear. We can use our gear in a million different ways. And like one of the things I was trying to elaborate to Choice and Hedon, which we kind of got a little bit because it wasn't necessarily PvP related, but I think people would feel even better about their gear and their gear progression if it mattered more in PvE. Like right now, it kind of doesn't. Like you get to a certain gear level and you grind orcs, and everything above that doesn't really matter. You have a weapon at orcs and everything just dies. If it actually mattered how much DP you have to go to different areas and how much AP you had to go to different areas, and it was like significant, then people would care a little bit more about gear. In Lost Ark, the only thing to gear for the most part is PvE. There are like PvP islands and stuff that they're kind of adding more and more in KR, but like for the most part, and everyone has so much motivation to gear up in that game. There's no reason why it can't be like that here. So I don't know. Also, Node Wars still exists, and uncapped Node Wars versus capped, like the way caps work in general isn't that fun to begin with, but the uncapped Node Wars are still really fun. And I don't know, although Node Wars are dead in general, but not necessarily because of the gear, because of a million other things. But I don't know, just needs to be equalized. It's really all it is. Just needs to be equalized. And if they're not sure, they should just ask, so that way they can see how many people prefer it to be equalized.
Just needs to happen.
Just needs to happen.
You just need to stop pussyfooting around with it.
All right. Next up. I hate to be the negative Nancy here, but we got to be negative Nancy.
You? Never.
Hey, you're taking my job.
I know, it's rough. We had a countdown put on our website for the last 3 weeks. And at the end of the countdown, all we got was a negative timer and a date reveal of something that we already knew was coming from other websites, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like right now, Pearl Abyss needs some sort of positivity. So just don't do these countdowns anymore. Just don't do these. Don't do a countdown for a quote exclusive reveal and then not reveal anything. Please, for the love of God, just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just cut this out.
Yeah.
Also, a bear is very good at making countdown timers for websites professionally. So if you have a timer that counts down to negative once it gets to 0 and keeps going instead of revealing content, it's probably a big no-no. That's all I'm saying. Just, there were so many people that whole week like, yo, what's this timer? What's this timer? What's this timer? Literally still, I don't know. I don't know what that timer was for. We're now 4 days, 5 days removed. I don't know what the timer was. They already showed the release date on other websites like way before. It's a timer that led to another timer. Just don't do that. Don't get people, and do not ever call something everyone has exclusive content again. Please. What were you going to say now, Ashley? I cut you off. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, if as long as they set up the time for April 1st, it would have at least been accurate. But, that's just silliness. It just seems like there's a lot of miscommunication on what's going on. That's what it looks like.
A lot of people thought that it was a Dragon Lady class.
Yeah. A lot of people were like, hey, do you think we're getting the Dragon class? It's like, I doubt it, but maybe. And then it was like, well, it's probably just going to be a video of something we've already seen before. Yeah, that's what I
thought. I thought it was going to be a reveal. The Dragon class lady reveal.
Well, I think a lot of people thought it was just going to be a video of the winter region that we've already seen before from other regions. And it wasn't even that. It wasn't even that.
At least that would have made some sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was odd. I don't know, it's just in a time where like things are a little bit dark. They have a lot of competition. They have a lot of negative feedback. A lot of people are feeling kind of down on the game. It's just like, dude, you can't just bait people like that, man.
Yeah, and dude, how absolutely insane is it that just a few months ago we were like riding the high of reworks that just came out. Like 2 weeks in, they made the first balance nerfs. They nerfed Musa. Everyone was like, okay, yeah, if they continue down this path, we're gonna be looking real good. And then it just stopped.
Yeah, it just went completely stagnant.
Like, what the fuck happened?
They didn't even do any like significant balance changes like they said they were going to do. The ranged and Zerker related bullshit is still running rampant.
The rain. Hey, they have done some nice stuff for life skilling. That I don't want to sweep under the rug. I know it's like you could be like, well, it should have happened a long time ago.
That wasn't on the list. That wasn't on the radar.
Well, it kind of was. What do you mean? They definitely talked about it. And no one believed they were going to do it.
Well, it wasn't on the radar for what they told us they were going to be doing. Like in this particular section of time. This particular quarter.
It's great that they buffed life skills, but I think that the fact that they said they were going to continue, they literally said after that first balance patch that they were going to continue observing and making changes, and there hasn't been one since. That's the problem. It's great that they buffed life skills, and like good for life skillers out there. I wish PvPers got the same treatment, but like they straight up are not doing the thing they said they were going to do. That's the problem. The fact that they did something else that they said they were going to do is great, but they're still not doing a thing they said they were going to do.
Yeah, they definitely said they were going to continue balancing classes based on feedback, and the reworks were so radically, like it was such a radical change in balance to be like, oh yeah, it was really just Musa did too much damage, Mewa did too much damage, and Lon did too much damage. Now the reworks are perfect. You're welcome.
And also,
guys.
Lon didn't grind good enough. Don't forget that as well.
No, I'm talking about post rework, but yeah, it's just weird. I don't know. It's just odd to not make any other changes, but I don't really know.
But this once again, this falls under like stop saying things. For the love of God, stop saying things. Like, sure, if they made that one balance patch and then didn't touch it again, people would be upset. Absolutely, people would still be upset. It's made doubly worse by the fact that you guys said you were going to keep making changes and then you didn't. Like, you keep saying you're gonna do these things, and then you don't. It's just like, I can't. You say you learn your lesson, but then you keep doing it. I'm lost. It's the same thing with the timer. The timer is another example of it. Hey, this thing is gonna happen when this timer hits zero. Oh wait, no, well, like, just stop saying things. It's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't even know. Like, so I'm excited for the winter region, but outside of that, like, I don't know what. Like, I wanted to talk about this last week, but we didn't have a chance because we got really caught up with the testing and it was super late. So March 26th is the official Calfee On Part 2 event, which just seems so weird to me. What are you guys expecting from there? Like, do they have new content prepared? I feel like there's no way, but...
Please God, no new content. Fix up what we are currently needing to get.
Probably class
I don't
reveal.
agree with that. They definitely have to release something. We haven't gotten anything new in so long. I mean, artifacts and Lightstone, sure, but it's not like we're doing new content to get it. We're just grinding the same spots we've already had, right? And the artifact and Lightstone stuff is cool, but to be like, please God, no, nothing new for us, please, is just, it's been too long without something new. We definitely need something new.
No, they're gonna reveal the new class, for sure. I don't know what I don't know. I legitimately don't know what else they're gonna do besides that. That might be it.
Elvia Calpheon might be an option, another one.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. Could be Elvia Calpheon, but that I don't know. They would have been keeping that under wraps for a minute then. At that point.
Well, they revealed it already, right? Multiple times. They gave the little teaser, a bunch of teasers. They showed us them fighting the troll. They talked about how there's gonna be an Elvia Star's End.
Yeah.
I mean, if you remember the Elvia release last year, it came pretty quick. I mean, we took a little while to get after KR, but KR got it fairly quick, and then we got it, if I remember correctly, we got it not long after them. It wasn't like a super long wait. It wasn't like that bad. But yeah, definitely new class.
That could make sense. Maybe Dragon Lady class and Calpheon Elvia.
Is there a world where anything else is announced? Like, where they're like, hey, we have a new, I don't even know, we added 2 new grind spots to the game. One in Valencia, one in Medaya.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know about new spots. Maybe like rework spots I could see. Maybe they tease a new region, but doubt it.
Oh yeah, the third dungeon. The dungeon's supposed to have 4 parts. What happened?
And by tease, I mean like screenshot, like a single screenshot maybe of like, hey, here's the next area that we're gonna do, and it's a single like concept art screenshot type thing.
What about the rest of the Black Star gear? Or the Dead God gear, I mean.
Black Star. Oh, Dead God? No, they're not. We still need to get the helmet.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. Like, they still don't have shit that they already announced.
Yeah. But they're not gonna... I doubt they would announce a new piece of gear before the rest of the world even has the helmet.
Dungeons were the most... I actually think dungeons are super underrated in this game. Especially because one of the big reasons people didn't like the dungeons is because they all convinced themselves that it's not worth doing. But it's like so incredibly efficient to do dungeons. I think that the low-level dungeons are bad on normal mode for sure. They just don't really give much comparatively, but the actual dungeons actually do. Yeah, I don't know. Like I could see maybe, I would say best case scenario, they announce the 3rd dungeon, Calpheon Elvia, and a new class.
I think that's probably pretty likely.
But that's best case. I think probably they'll announce a new class, a new season, and then giveaways. And then say like, hey, we are still working on stuff. We promise.
No, they have to announce some new content, even if it's just like, hey, we're still working on this or whatever. And, like, give us another glimpse into Calpheon LV or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about the Calpheon LV thing, because I feel like they said that thing about like you're gonna need green gear to grind in Calpheon Elvia, and everyone went, "Wait, what the fuck?" And that like upended their entire plan for that whole fucking region.
I still think they're gonna try to do that, where you have to have some. What is the piece of gear that changes your AP with the rain?
Oh, as well.
Aswell. They're gonna make you wear Aswell. I'm gonna have to swap to my Aswell to grind Stars End Elvia.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there was a lot of like what the fucks from across the world whenever they said that originally. I don't think they're gonna do that anymore, personally. Which is probably why we haven't heard anything about it since, because they're in the process of reworking their entire concept for this region.
All right, I'm gonna challenge that notion right now. Rez, hold on.
Oh boy. You know something I don't?
I do. I remember something, you know? It's sitting in my head. Okay, you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
This is the last note at the end of the Artifacts and Lightstones update release on March 2nd. Here's what they said. Like we mentioned earlier, our intent with the Artifacts and Lightstones is to create a greater variety of item sets for our adventurers. Most of the effects added in this update are based on pre-existing effects. We have future plans to add a wider variety of effects like cooldown reduction of specific class skills and increasing damage during nighttime. Just that alone tells me that that idea is not out the window for them. The rain idea and the nighttime idea, like these weird rules.
No. So, but that is adding variety, right? This is adding variety. Doing something like to grind in Calpheon Elva, you have to have an Aswell takes away variety. That's why I don't think that they're gonna do that.
No,
anymore. It's
not that you have to have an Aswell. It's that you'd be lucky to have an Aswell because it's so god tier. All right.
Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. Trying to think if I don't want to equip anything else. I feel like our gear has gotten to a point with the artifact. Like I love the artifacts and the lightstones, but God, I wish there was a different interface for managing it. It's so tedious. The inventory management on it is so tedious. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that change is going to go through. I think that a combination of the reaction to them saying that when they like originally announced the shit, and also them like having to change how like current Elvia weapons work, because people were like, why do I have to equip a different weapon to grind efficiently at the spot? That's fucking dumb. And they eventually had to cave to it. I think that that's going to be like lesson learned for them, honestly. Yeah. By the way, have you messed
around
with
If it's not lesson learned, Jesus Christ, man. I don't know how much clearer of a message player base can send to you.
Have you messed around with the new ping system?
I have not, no. I don't even know how to use it.
It's kind of cool. So if you tap and hold the tilde key, it does like a rotate. You move left, right, up, or down, similar to like League of Legends pings. And then once you select that ping, then when you hit the tilde key after that, that's the ping that pops up. So you have an attack one, a move one, what is this bottom one? Command. I don't know what that means. And then a warning. Like a yellow, purple, red, and green. It's pretty cool.
Interesting. But so when I select this ping, does it work if I ping on the map then?
Yes.
I can't test it because I'm in the desert.
So if you press Control LMB, it will show that ping.
Okay, that's pretty interesting then.
And if you do Alt tilde, if you don't want to tap and hold, you can just do Alt tilde, and that'll instantly bring up the wheel to choose which ping you want to use. So it's pretty cool. Took a little while, but it's cool. I like it.
That's a new thing. Probably won't use it.
Well, if you shot call, I feel like it would be kind of nice because it's like, hey, go to this ping, because you can differentiate the pings on the map. Right now, it's like there's no differentiation. So you could put like, if you want your guild to meet up, you could do the little command ping, So they see the purple giant beam and a flag icon. So it's like, hey, this is where we're meeting, and then you swap. You swap to the attack ping and be like, and this is where we're moving to attack after. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. Telling someone like this is where a flag is, you could do the flag icon, whatever. That it's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think that the better use of it would just be like assigning pings to certain like points of interest or something like that.
All the shot callers from last night's podcast said they liked it. Oh yeah, from the Siege podcast. They just want the ping limits removed. What are the ping limits, Azu? Like, is it you can only ping a certain number of times per type? Or so you could ping 3 times? How long do you have to wait before the last one? Okay, you can ping up to 5 times within 3 seconds. Wait, that's not that bad. It says you can ping 5 times. 5 times within 3 seconds. I thought it like locked you out for a while. And then every 3 seconds it resets your ping. Huh. Yeah. Anyway, the ping system's kind of cool. I like that. That's a good change. It's a cool change.
Plus 1 point.
Plus 1 point. Plus 1 point. Did we get any other major change this week? I'm trying to think. I don't think so. Maybe we did. Now I'm misremembering. Prime Dark Backstep moves you further. Grats. That's pretty hype. They did make a tooltip change on Global Labs for Meiwa. Nah, actually, so that's hype.
Yeah, it was just the defense of Redmond.
Feels like a buff though, doesn't it?
No, it's always been that way. I don't know why it was 10 seconds to begin with. It was always 20.
Yeah, feels like you guys got buffed a little bit though, so maybe they'll look at that and think maybe we went too far. Maybe it should have always been 10, you know?
Oh my god.
Yeah, we got the new rearrangement stuff for the inventory. I haven't messed around with it yet. They changed some names of stuff. Yeah, we're more like just waiting for the event and March 26th, which is going to be a Friday night. Are we doing that one live, Rez?
We can? You want to?
It would be March 25th, Friday night at midnight. So technically 26th in the morning, but for us, we'd start Friday night.
Right. It'd be at like 2 a.m. or some shit.
It would be at a fuck time for you, yeah.
That's fine.
Actually, because of daylight savings, I actually think it'd be worse. I'm pretty sure it's going to start at 1 a.m. for me and 3 a.m. for you.
Nice.
I think.
That's what I like to hear.
Yeah, Crookinator, we talked about the exclusive content reveal.
And lack thereof.
I don't know.
I don't know. The timer to another timer is pretty exciting. I don't know what you guys are on about.
Is there a way to get back
timer.
to the timer? Did they remove the timer? Because there was another timer for me as well, but now I don't have another timer when I go to this page. Oh, wait, here it is. The next content reveals in 2 days and 16 hours. This is going to be the big one.
I hope to God it's just another timer.
I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a sale. Everyone's getting a free CAG tunic from Blood Wolves to make the Dark Fang gem.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
It's a world boss reveal for Winter Region. Looks like this is all Winter Region stuff. So world boss reveal for content we don't have. Hype. I'm into it. Will likely be more info about the lore / boss since the dragon pictured is Mark then. Yeah. It'll probably also be a nice discount on the platinum package.
Right.
What are these?
Ah,
What are these
it's the world we
bundles?
live in.
Sorry, not platinum. The Traveler's Conqueror package. All right. Well, I don't know. I think that's kind of it for BDO stuff. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about before we talk about some of the Lost Ark stuff?
I think that pretty much wrapped it up.
It's unfortunate that Reslar has been unable to play recently because all I wanted his only homework was to just do a little bit of enhancing in Lost Ark, and he couldn't get it done.
Listen, I don't even like the enhancing in this game, alright?
Yeah, I want to talk about the 1370 requirement for Argos, the Argos release, and my experience now enhancing when actually trying to push to get because before it's like, well, you're slowly enhancing, you want to get to the next area, but you and all your friends are stuck together, right? In tier 2.
Yeah.
We all started at the same time, so we're all stuck in tier 1. We all mostly got to tier 2 around the same time, give or take a day. We all mostly got to tier 3, give or take a little bit longer because of the RNG and the disparity. And now it's like the first person that's going to be 1370 versus the last in our friend group is going to literally be like a month apart.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, all right. So they released Argos on Thursday. Okay. Now Argos is just called an Abyssal raid. Apparently it's pretty easy. I don't know. I was under the impression it was going to be really, really hard, but apparently everyone that's done it is saying it's pretty easy. You learn the mechanics, watch a video, and then it's like pretty easy. Like people are like one-shotting it or two-shotting it. I don't know if it's supposed to be super hard or not, but it's there it is. So when this came out, the 1370 rec is like most people that didn't pay money are not here. So there's a few. Here's the types of people that could have gotten to 1370 by the day Argos came out. All right, this came on. Yeah. Go ahead, C8. Link whatever you want. So on Thursday, when this came out, the people that got there either A, they paid a lot of money, or B, they were a combination of. Well, there's 3. I'll do 3. We'll do 2 with the money and 1 without. So either A, had a lot of money, spent a lot of money, swiping works, helps. B, spent a little bit of money, plus was very much in the know on like what they need to do early on, played the market, got blue crystals early, stocked up on gold early, but didn't spend too much money. Also saved your pet and your platinum outfit to sell within the last week or two when the price is like exponentially higher than when everyone was selling theirs to begin with. Or C, you played absolutely perfectly. You were mostly free to play except for you started 3 days early, but you played absolutely perfectly and you had hundreds of thousands of gold saved up from playing the market. You knew everything about the game, all the ins and outs, and try-harded, and you got a little bit lucky on your enhancements. Those are the 3 people that can participate on this on day 1. And as time progresses, like more and more people are getting into 1370. I have played a lot. I wasn't in the know on everything, but I did my best to try to learn like the different systems and whatever, so I could try to get to 1370 by the time this came out. And I saved up a bunch of mats, and I saved up a bunch of gold, and I was about 1350 gear score on Wednesday with 3 weeks of tier 3 materials saved and 1 alt in tier 3 that also is feeding a little bit of materials. And I had the platinum package, so I had sold my outfit and had some gold and everything. So I had about 3 weeks of enhancement mats. And then on Thursday, when that patch came out, I did the event, which was this Arkesia Grand Prix, which gave a ton of enhancement mats as well. I did everything, like got all of my weekly reset whatever. I had about 12,500 guardian stones and 6,000 destruction after my first enhancement session in the day, and then the second one I had about 5,000 and 1,500, and went through a grand total of about 515 leap stones. I'm now 1358 with no with no gold, no materials. Out of 92 attempts, I failed 73 times now.
Oh.
And that is mostly with 30% enhancement rates. So I was starting like plus 10 or plus 11. So 30% or higher. And yeah. So I am like, because of that, I'm like stuck so far behind. Whereas Lorenz, my buddy Lorenz, some of you in chat may know Lorenz. Lorenz was like, started at around the same 1350. He started enhancing. His enhancements went. He got to 1370 so he's at 1370. I'm 1358, and he has like 45 fewer fails than me.
Oh my god.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
That's brutal.
Yeah, and because going from 1355 to 1370 is not, it's not free. It's a lot. It's a huge jump. So I had only ever felt the way I felt after that enhancement session. I'd only ever felt like one other time in BDO, where this was like early on, where enhancing items to pen was actually hard because you had to bid for sharps and bid for hards. But I had failed like going for pen Kudum so many times. This one morning, I remember just feeling like I wanted to quit. Like I didn't want to play the game anymore. That's how I felt. Like it actually made me feel like that, because it wasn't just like I failed everything. It was like I literally am completely out of stuff to do to get mats right now. I have nothing. All 6 of my characters are completely exhausted on all of their content. I have no like legitimate way to get mats in any even like remotely efficient way. It's crazy. So yeah, and a lot of
6 characters, 6 alts.
Yeah, so I have 3 alts that are right about to be in tier 2. I have one that's almost out of tier 2 and into tier 3, and I have another alt that's in tier 3, and then my main that's in tier 3. And yeah, I just am like I ran out. I dried up. Will I get it? Eventually. It'll probably take me, with really good luck, I can get it this week. With average luck, it'll probably be not this Thursday, but the Thursday after on reset, or with really bad luck, 3 weeks. The thing that sucks is now a friend or a couple friends, like anyone I know that already paid to just skip to 1370, or that was in one of those 3 categories that I talked about in the beginning, they're all done with Argos, and they're like just now waiting for Volton. Like they're going to do Argos, whatever, every week in the harder dungeons. They already have most of the gear they need. They're 1385 or pushing 1400 slowly. In a month or in 2 weeks when I get there, they're going to be 1400 plus already. And I'm not going to be able to do Volton with them either. I feel like I'm going to be in a perpetual state. And I don't know if this is true or not, but there's just a feeling that I get, that I'm going to be in a perpetual state of being one content release behind everybody, even though I played as much as all of those people. So like the people I'm talking about that are in my personal friend group that got there, like they know the same things as me. They played as much or less than I played. They just didn't fail as much. It literally just comes down to that. And it's hard. It feels bad because the content is... right now, this zone, like, so Bardo in chat is saying the state of the game we have is known as the dead zone in KR, 1340 to 1370. When KR was in this state, they had a bunch of players quit, and that's when they gave them the honing changes. So I don't think I'm alone in this feeling, and I could only imagine for people that are like way more casual than me, like they're not going to be out of it for years. It's just years. So Kerr keeps saying that the prices of materials are dropping. It doesn't really change anything because I'm not generating additional gold. Like it still is going to leave me 3 weeks behind Just don't buy into the flavor of the month next time. So I don't know what server you play on, Kerr, but I stopped selling mats the moment they dropped in price. So that already happened, what you're saying. That's why I stopped selling mats. So early on, I was selling all my tier 3 mats, and then they tanked really hard. So then I stopped buying them. Or I stopped selling them. And then started saving up my mats and went for it. On your server might be different. Your prices are different. We play on different regions. I think you're on East. So yeah, it's not ignoring anything. It just is the honing rates don't really change. My gold income also is like not changing that much. It's still based on RG or I'm time gated by a lot of stuff. So yeah. It's just the fact. I mean, it's just how it is. Nayashe, how far did you get? I know you were a little bit more behind, but you're like 1350 now, right? Or you're close?
Well, I'm like the playing like the traditional casual player. Like and I'm not even doing everything efficiently. I'm going like super lazy casual. Like don't even have an ult yet. But I'm 1346 and I haven't even done my enhancements today, so it's possible, depending on RNG, I could get close, if not hit 1350 today. Probably not, to be perfectly honest, but there is a possibility. But I mean, yeah, the enhancement rates are definitely getting worse and worse and worse. But I've had, I guess, average luck.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have like a total of 30 or 74 fails in total. Let me double check because that's under achievements. Let me see.
Yeah, if you go to achievements, character, items, and then scroll down to strategic failure, it'll tell you how many fails you have.
Let's see, character, items, strategic fail.
Fortispect is saying, I'm super casual like Nayashe too. I'm 1360. Granted, I spent $50 and got lucky. Didn't think it would be that hard.
Okay, so I have 81 failures, and I'm sub 1350. So I suspect that's gonna like go up a significant amount. But and obviously most of those fails didn't come about until basically the later stages of T2 kind of thing, and then the stages I'm at now for tier 3 is where it's starting to hit a little bit. So I mean, it's not the worst, but I'd say it's average. I don't know. Where do you think you were at failure wise? Be sub 1350.
So sub 1350, I was at 81 fails.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at now. So probably about average at that point. But once I get past the 1350 threshold, that's when I'm really going to see if I'm going to be lucky or not. Kind of like how your friend group.
So I want to talk a little bit about not Kerr you specifically, but just that comment, because I think a lot of people say similar things like, oh well, essentially it's my fault that I'm not 1370 because I have a fear of missing out, or because I didn't play the market properly, or whatever the case. But here are the things that we know for sure. Our honing rates are worse. Like, our enhancement chances are straight up worse than every other region for this current content, period. KR went through it, they didn't like it, and they changed it, which is why I don't fully understand why we didn't get that version. Now, separately from the enhancement rates being worse, we also have less access to materials because we don't have a ranked PvP for whatever reason to get the materials to buy. We don't have these additional like weekly Guardian raids that you can do for additional mats, like the equalized or the different versions of Guardian raids. There's like a whole bunch of content that we don't have yet that gives additional mats. So even if they were going to leave us with the harder rates, but also to not give us the extra access to the materials, but then still release this. That guy Fox had a really good he had a really cool video that we watched on stream that I thought was pretty cool because he's played in Russia and he's played for years and years, and his sentiment was that he felt bad that this was being released because it gives the impression that you, unless you're like the top 0.1% and like pretty RNG carried or knew the market and played it perfectly well, then you get this feeling that like, oh, to participate in content as it releases, like I have to pay money, or I participate in it months or whatever after it comes out, when it's already like older content, new content's coming out. Because it's not like, hey, oh, Argos is endgame for the next 4 or 5 months while everyone catches up. We know Volton's coming out in 3 weeks. Like, we already know all this other stuff is coming out. So it's like very odd. And he was, you could tell he was a little bit like, he's trying to reconcile if it's Amazon or Smilegate or a combination, but then he mentions like Smilegate had to have signed off on it. So you can't fully just blame Amazon. So it's like a combination of the two. And it just seems very odd that in other regions, he talks about how he started the game after, like later than everyone else, right? So he had to do some catching up in Russia when he played, but that there's never been new content that came out where he wasn't able to participate, at least in like the easy versions of those content. So this is the first time in his history of playing the game where content that is released, it makes it feel like you have to drop IRL money if you want to participate, or be like this crazy RNG carried person that played it perfectly from the beginning. So it's I don't know. And I'm trying to like decide, and it's like this weird, is it good? Is it bad? Because there's definitely a segment of the population that's like, well, just enjoy the game for what it is. And it's like, well, okay. But right now, all I can do is like content that I've already done. Right? So this is like the first new thing since it came out, and I was pretty hyped to try it, but there's no way I'm going to be able to play it. It's not necessary. So Strat's saying, is there a reason why people feel like they have to do new content on the first day it comes out? It's kind of like this, Strat. So if they released Winter Region on April 6th and you could not participate in it at all, like you just, with your current gear, you could not do it at all, is that just fear of missing out? Like, can't you just enjoy the rest of BDO? That's how everything was for you in BDO? Well, I don't even understand how, because like what in BDO came out that you couldn't participate in? The only thing that we had, I played for a long time. I started out super late. The only thing I couldn't do was Ash Forest. Everything else that came out, and I was like way under geared compared to the average population. What gear in BDO, or what content came out that you could not participate in at all? Everyone was at History and you were at Gahaz. Well, did you just start like really late? Because like when I was at Gahaz, yeah, like if you start late, I get that. Like I get if someone starts playing Lost Ark today and they're like, dude, why can't I go do Argos tonight? And it's like, well, you just created your account, like you know. But like everyone started at the same time, and this content isn't hard content. Like this is like not end game content. Like this dungeon is considered like relatively easy and low level. And also it's like, we don't have the enhancement rates. We don't have the access to the other items. So yeah, I don't, this whole like, well, it's the player's fault for wanting to do the new content. Here was the thing that one of the things that I was pointing out the other day, because a lot of people were like, well, why do you care about Argos? Why are you even thinking about Argos? And I'll tell you why. It's actually really easy. Because 2 weeks ago, they tweeted an image of Argos and teased it. They talked about releasing Argos 4 weeks ago. They put up not one, not two, but 3 posts on the front news bulletin about Argos is coming, Argos is coming. And the way they have their content set up, once you get to tier 3, you're doing Agrixian every day, and that's it. You do your Chaos Dungeons and Agrixian, and that's it. That's the only content you have in tier 3. So they were teasing this and pushing it and announcing it. That's why I want to do it, because it's like, oh shit, they're like hyping this up. Like, this sounds cool. I haven't had new content for... I've been doing the exact same thing in Lost Ark for 3 weeks.
Yeah. The other thing is, like, to add on to that, but like how you were basically describing for everyone, like it's the mass majority of the players that are 1370 are either really lucky or they spent money. And dangling Argos in front of everybody will encourage those players that are behind to maybe squeeze out a few dollars, you know, because they
Yeah.
haven't made the enhancement chance easier. And I don't know if this is true, but one of the players in chat was suggesting that other regions, these dungeons and whatnot, like the hard mode that we currently have access to, that's, you know, saying 1370 for hard mode. It's 1335 supposedly for other
55,
regions. Or
I think 55. Yeah.
is it 1355?
Yeah, some of them are like 55.
So it's like, so yeah, there's even like you get better materials and, you know, your legendary gear out of there, so you can get better stats and whatnot. But yeah, like not having more options, like you're describing, like for content at the tier 3, the final stage for where we're at currently in the content. That's a little rough, you know. Having that new experience keeps things fresh. Like we had the new game release, everything's fresh, and now we're getting at a point where it's getting stagnant a little bit. So I understand where you're coming from. You're wanting to do something new. But yeah, dangling it like, oh, here's the 1370 mark, you know, like you got to get here, and announcing it constantly, it puts the pressure on for you to consider spending some money.
Yeah,
it just seems like a tactic. Personally,
another couple things I want to address. So, Strat, even with your example, well, I understand the example or the comparison, but even in your example, if you wanted to, you could still go to Histria and give it a shot, right? Like you could, when you couldn't do pirates, when I couldn't do pirates back in the day, I could go to pirates. I had access to it. It just wasn't efficient. Or you could go to Gahaz before you were ready to, if you wanted to. Like you had access to everything.
Yeah, you could go to Ash Forest and get fucking demolished, but just, you know.
And I'm not saying you should have access to these at any gear level. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like you did technically have access to all of the content if you wanted to. But the option was there, and even then, like the difference is so, like no one was doing Histria for a really long time because Histria, we just didn't have, no one had the gear for it. But like you could still go there and give it a shot. Like there were still people that were doing it for like, look, I got the first Tungrad neck drop. It was still like it had this cool like completion thing that didn't exist. The other thing, and Kerr, again, I don't mean to, like, Kerr, I'm just using your previous sentence as an example, but like Kerr's saying, I'm not saying that it's the player's fault. I'm saying Korean MMO companies are predatory in the West, which is true. The thing is, though, is when BDO releases something, the BDO player base has no problem being like, yeah, that's because they want money. But I find it odd that when the exact same scenario happens in Lost Ark, everyone's telling me it's the player's fault. Like, this is my fault for wanting to be here. Like, this isn't actually a problem. They're not trying to get money out of us. It's just my fault for wanting to be 1370 when it doesn't actually matter. And it's like, I don't understand that thinking at all. Like, they release this content, tease it and announce it knowing what percentage of the player base is in tier 3 and what percentage has gotten to that. So it's like, I don't know how it could possibly be any of the players' fault for playing the game a lot and wanting to do new content.
Yeah, I'm on the side of Kerr with that one. It's definitely predatory.
Yeah,
I mean, you could see it. It's plain as day. Like only the lucky few that are free to play that really knew what they were doing and got lucky with their enhancements squeezed through that particular bracket. Now, I'm not personally, I don't personally mind. I'm gonna make it when I make it, but I'm got the casual mindset right now anyway, so it's not a big deal to me. But I understand because you saved up so many materials and you've been ahead of me for a while, and I'm slowly creeping up to you. When basically what gated you was just a series of like massive fails.
Yeah, but even if the average, like, I still would only be like 1360, 1363.
Yeah.
If my failure rate was better, right? It's like
you still have like a couple weeks minimum.
Yeah,
probably.
And then there was another post too, because I see there's a bunch of different ones. It's like, well, you needed to have played the market, or well, you You should have made more alts and got them into tier 3. There was a post of this dude who's like, I have 5 alts. He's like, I played in Russia forever. I have 5 alts in tier 3. 3 of them are 1340, one and the other 2 are 1325. They're all feeding my main. I'm not 1370 yet. And it's like, if there's people that are able to do that and they still can't get it, and they're like 450, 500 hours into the game, I think it's kind of odd. I think it's kind of odd. Now, again,
the people in my guild that I know are 1370 or above, they 100% pay to win.
Yeah,
a little bit.
everything
in some capacity.
Yeah, we have 4 people too that got to it that were that day one that all admitted like, no, yeah, I dropped 1,000 or I dropped 1,500. They don't really care. They pay to win, and that's fine. I don't even like if you want to pay to win. I don't begrudge anyone for that. I'm just saying like, it's just odd that it came out the way it did with our lower honing rates and with us not having the access to the mats. Because let's just say we were getting some mats from the PvP, and let's say we were able to do some of the weekly Guardian raid thing. I forget what the name. What is it called? The Abyssal Guardians?
Yeah.
Is that what they're calling it?
The Abyssal raid or whatever.
No, the where you do like a rotation of older Guardians that you've already done for extra mats.
Oh.
Like it's like a weekly thing. I forget the name of that.
The fucking sun tower kind of thing. Is that what you're talking about?
Challenge. I don't know. I forget what it's called. It's talked about in the in Stoops video. Stoops has a video about it. But like those give extra mats. So like if you're gonna give us the lower enhancement rates, why not give us all of that content on the in between? You know, that's the only thing I'm a little bit confused by, like one or the other. And then so Strat's saying my only gripe is that I have is that people want tier 1, tier 2 to be 100% all the way through with multiple levels of success.
No, I don't agree with that either.
Well, but here's the thing. I totally understand that, Strat, if they wanted us to be in tier 1 or tier 2, right? But every content creator that's played the game for a long time keeps saying they want us to go to tier 3. They want us to go to tier 3. That's why the islands exist. That's why this exists. And the enhancement rates are higher everywhere else. Is it not odd if even in our region they don't really want us to stay in tier 1 or tier 2 that they'd make the enhancement rates lower? Like I don't fully understand that thinking. It's like they're doing the BDO thing where they're going like halfway to both sides. There isn't really much in tier 3. I mean, I would agree. I totally get that. So then why release tier 3? Why wouldn't they have just had us stay in tier 1 and tier 2? Outside of like cash. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Yeah, in KR as a new player you start at tier 3. Like I don't understand. Like it's not like there's not tier 3 content. Again, let me find the video actually. It'd probably be helpful. But in Stoops' video, he talks about all this content that's out. And tier 3 our version of tier 3 should have more content. Like that's the thing. Like tier 3 should have way more. There's a bunch of content that exists that's sub 1370 that we literally just don't have. So it's like it's just weird to me. I don't know. It's kind of like it gave me a little bit of bad what is the word? I guess my view on it. It was everyone had sold this game as the dev is not predatory. They really care about the player base. All they care about is fun. They listen to your feedback, all this stuff, and they do a lot of cool stuff. But then like when I see this, I'm like, oh, okay. They just love the game a lot, and that's why they feel that way. But it's not actually like that. It's a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. And it only is going to get worse in next month, or in 3 weeks when we have the next even harder content that still people are not 1370 to even get to the pre-content that have 500, 600, 700 hours in the game.
Yep.
Rez, are you still here?
Yes, sir.
Based on all of the stuff you're hearing, do you have any opinion? I know you haven't enhanced or anything, but chime in.
Oh,
with
it sounds
something.
miserable. It sounds
We're-
miserable, and I've never wanted to not play the game more in my life.
Did you ever feel you played more since the beginning? I started BDO late. That's why I'm a little bit surprised that people felt like they were gated on content in BDO, outside of them just not releasing the content. Because I started a year and a half after everybody. I was like really late to the party, and I never ran into a point where I couldn't like do content. Like they never released something that I couldn't do. Even though I started a year and a half after everyone. There was never like, all right, here, this is coming out and you can't do it. The only thing that was kind of close to that was Ash Forest. But the thing is with Ash Forest is it was so incredibly inefficient, even with gear, that it didn't really matter. It was like more of a, hey, go test and see if you could survive this kind of deal. Did you feel like that? Like when Medaya came out and like when the earlier things came out, were you not able to participate in content?
Yeah. Well, like it's just what you said, right? So it's just that it wasn't always super efficient. You needed a certain amount of gear to make it efficient. So it's like, yeah, you can go, like they do this all the time, right? They did it with Ash Forest, but they also did it with Hystria. They also do it, like, even now you can argue with Crypt, right? There's only like a few choice people that can grind at Crypt, like at any sort of efficiency. So like it kind of depends. Like you're not hard locked out, but it's just not really worth grinding there. You can go there if you want, and like if you find enjoyment out of that, that's absolutely something you can do, but it's not worth it. So I feel like in BDO, it's a little bit different than something like you're hard locked out of a dungeon because you don't reach a gear rec or something. Because in BDO, even if you don't reach the rec to like grind there efficiently, technically speaking, if you find enjoyment out of it, you can still just go there and do it for fun. You're just not going to be making a good amount of money. So I don't know. It's just kind of like, it's different. I think comparing the two things in that aspect is a little off. But what I find most disturbing about like everything that you guys have talked about is the idea that you can run out of materials to progress your gear, and there's nothing you can do to go get more. That sounds miserable.
That's the difference between one of the main differences between BDO enhancing, which has a lot of awfulness to it, where things just blow up and evaporate and you have to start over.
That sounds absolutely fucking horrific.
In this case, at least in BDO, you can continue grinding and getting materials and buy stuff off the marketplace. In this game, you're literally gated by your daily stuff, which is a minute amount.
And you can increase how much you can get by adding more and more characters and paying to win more character slots.
Yeah, but then it's just like, okay, well, then you're just playing daily online, which, you know, like some people like that. It's up to you if you like that or not. I don't know.
Certain Arcade players like that, yeah.
Yeah.
They love that. I mean, look, it's not the only reason. Like the thing is that I feel like the only reason it really feels that way right now is because this content came out. Like, so if this wasn't out, if instead of releasing Argos, they instead were like, oh, here's these the Guardian, I think they're calling it trials, Guardian trials, where it's like you do that once a week and they release the PvP ranking where you can start accumulating more mats. And then with the announcement of like Argos is going to come in a couple more weeks, now that you're like have more access to mats, it would have made a lot more sense, right? Like people wouldn't feel like they're ramming their head into the wall trying to enhance, and they'd just be able to focus on getting ults up, etc. But because they just released this, it's like, damn, I guess I don't get to play that. And there is I've also run into a lot of people that are like, well, you get nothing. You get nothing for being in Argos. That is another like new pet peeve of mine. First of all, you get to start popping your Una dailies that give you greater honor leapstones, and the value of a greater honor leapstone, go look it up, is like 3 times that of a normal leapstone. You get access to a different set of gear that you can start working on and progress towards the next level of content. You have access to so much more shit, higher drop rate. You have access to 2 different Guardian raids. Like there's so much extra stuff Like your daily gold income just goes up exponentially when you're there. Wouldn't people feel like they are delaying content unnecessarily? I don't know. If they, on March, when did the game come out? February 11th? If on February 11th, they said, they gave us a roadmap that said Argos is coming out on, let's see, what's not this week, on March 24th, and we're getting, prior to that, we're getting Guardian Trials and PvP ranked arenas, would anyone say that content is being delayed? Because I don't think so. That's not the same at all. You would literally have a roadmap of nonstop content coming out that people get to do. So I don't see how that would be considered a delay. I mean, if that's a delay, then just the fact that we don't have any of the other Legion raids is also a content delay that's unnecessary. Right? Like, yeah, you definitely could have done that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's the order in which they're doing it is geared specifically towards being able to spend money. That I think that's why people feel bad about it. That's why a lot of people are complaining. That's why that forum post that I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you're here, Strat, and I was saying like BDO needs to do this with their arenas because they seem to be towing this weird line between using full gear and being equalized. They need to just ask the community. The GMs and CMs put up a post saying, like, we hear your complaints about the honing rates. We want to get your feedback. Please keep it constructive. Like, what are your thoughts on the honing rates? And they're going to forward the information to the devs and to Amazon, whatever, like to see if maybe we should get the increased rates. Like, that's really cool. I like that. BDO should do that. It's just odd. Like, the timing of it feels very like a money grab. I don't know. It really, really does. It doesn't feel any different than the same money grabs everyone complains about in BDO, except for whatever reason, this one gets defended. Like, this is really, this is good. They're doing a great job. This is good. Good job, guys. Good job, Lost Art. Good thing the angels of Korea have come to conquer the devils in BDO. Smilegate's doing it right. Pearl Abyss, you could learn a thing or two. You know what I mean? That's all. It's just,
Smile.
yeah, I don't understand that thinking.
I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yep.
I do think we are
Yeah, we're
running
getting
pretty
near.
late.
Yeah, we're getting near. All right. So, in closing, you know what the other disappointing thing is that Argos is, everyone says it's incredibly easy. That it's like stupid easy, and they're one-shotting it or two-shotting it. So it's like also just...
Slap in the face.
Yeah. I mean, I hear that all the Legion raids are really nuts down the road, so I can't wait to see what that's like. I guess we'll see, but yeah, apparently it's quite easy content. It's actually odd because tier 2 content to me, especially the Sea of Indolence stuff, that area feels so much harder than anything in tier 3. Like, it's not even close. Yeah, no, I have a lot of alts, and my life skills are actually running pretty hot. That's the thing, is like I've already been doing that. I'm almost at like 80% completion in every region now. I have all my life skills up. I'm a week away from having like my 12 Giants Hearts. I got my Omni Stars. I got multiple characters on track to be in tier 3. I already have multiple in tier 3. Can't do Argos though. A lot of my friends that paid money, they can. And they'll enjoy that and be ahead for a long time, but I can't do this super easy content yet.
And I just hit 1348.
I get to do a Grixian.
I'm creeping on you.
I get to do a I'm hyped. I get to do a Grixian twice a day for about 14 more days. Woo! I'm excited. I do like the events that they released. They do have some cool. This go-kart event is pretty fun, if you could call it.
Oh yeah,
that.
it's just so Korean. It's just random.
Well,
It's
apparently
fun.
it's a if you actually like look at the surroundings, it's like a timeline of Lost Ark's releases. Apparently,
That's true.
Someone said. I haven't actually. I'll pay more attention to it. That time I just read that, but it's actually a pretty fun little like go-kart mini game. Except when you get hit by lightning. The other day, Amritat, it was so funny, dude. He was raging so hard. So he got electrocuted on the track. And the electrocution, like if sometimes it hits you multiple times, so you're just sitting there forever. He said that he was so far in last place that he transformed out of lizard form and was his normal character and had to walk the rest of the way. Which I thought was so freaking funny.
That is hilarious.
No, link it, Necro. Link it if you can. All right, Rez, you want to do comments for us? Hopefully at some point this week you can do some Lost Ark. We are. Oh wait, let me just get to my one.
I don't
more.
know if I want to after all this.
Let me get to my one more pet peeve. Hold on. You ready? Rez, I think you'll love this. All right, so this is what everyone's been wondering what's going on with the ranked arenas. Why we don't have the ranked arenas yet, or the vendor to give us rewards for the ranked arenas. Here's what they say: Competitive Proving Grounds Season 1. Unlike the other content in the March update, the initial March update will lay the groundwork for Season 1 of Competitive Proving Grounds, and the season will begin later in the month. We'll keep you posted for the exact time the season is set to kick off. What are your thoughts on them, quote, laying the groundwork for content that's been in the game for multiple years? Like
that's a weird way to phrase that.
The devs are in the background really working hard on this content, and that we'll get at the end of the month. I find the wording is so disingenuous.
It's like the opposite of the BDO devs, where they're working hard for 10 months but release 1 month worth of content, and then they already have the content ready. And in Lost Ark's case, and they're just working hard on getting it released.
I'm just picturing the scout. Dude, you have a lot of people at your house, huh, Nashi? It's a straight party going on back there.
Wife's watching a show in the background.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I thought it was really funny. So it's like, just announce a date and don't say that you're working on it in the background. I'm not giving you credit for building a system that already exists. It's like an on-off switch, you know? Just put it in. Just put it in or don't.
That's a strange way to say we're working very hard on giving you the content that's already in the game.
Yeah, we laid the groundwork, and now it's actually going to be possible to be implemented. Thank us for that. I don't know. It's funny. All right, Rez, comments.
Yep. I got to go to... We have 2 comment sections to get through, so I got to go to 42 first.
We do. We're a
Dude,
bit behind.
Frosty, I got so close. 1349. Just one enhancement for being 1350.
Sounds like you're fucking RNG carried. God damn. It sounds like you're super, super RNG carried.
All right. We're gonna roll through these because you gotta go soon, right?
All right. Yeah, which one? You're doing episode 142 first?
142, yes, sir.
Alrighty. Pull these up.
There's a spammy thing there. Annoying. Let me delete that.
Okay.
Aggravating.
Is it deleted?
No. I just swapped to my other account. And report. Alright, here we go. Vesper. So this is episode 142. So this was the episode where we talked about the Winter Region coming, the Calpheon Ball Part 2, and then Choice hopped in on the backside, which he did in both of these episodes, actually, funny enough.
Yeah.
But this was the episode where he talked about RBF rewards. He came up with idea for RBF rewards. Based off of performance, which I thought was interesting considering the very next episode. So Vesper says first, yes indeedy. Clyde Broken says second, yes indeed. Daz says, ooh, Elden Ring. Also, hunting's busted good now.
Yep.
Hopefully hunting is good. Hopefully for all the life skillers out there, and then PvP can get the same treatment. Villain-PS says, crying, laughing emoji ×3. Ask console how they feel. Don't have to. There's none of them left. Yeti Wookie says, I feel like nobody really complained about orcs. Then a ton of you siege guys hit C20 700 gear score. Now you're bored as fuck and seeing kids catch up in gear score from the same orc camp you did. And now after highest gear score players reaped it, they want it to slow everyone else down. Frosty?
Everyone complained about orcs literally fucking the 2 weeks after it came out.
Yeah. Also, not C20, not 700 gear score, Orcs is still a problem and needs to be nerfed.
Yeah, everyone has complained about Orcs since like 2 weeks after it came out, when they buffed it a second time for no reason when it was already considered the best spot. That is such a weird take. Nobody complained about Orcs until everyone hit C20 and 700 gear score. And seeing kids catch up, it's so disingenuous. Yeti, what are you talking about, man? Go ahead, Riz.
Devil Monkey says, "Dear Frosty, the amount of I don't knows you said in a single sentence, man. LOL. Anyways, good to see you guys doing videos again."
Yeah, I actually don't know. That's why, Devil Monkey, I don't know. Because every week there's some stuff where I just don't know.
It's always, I find it strange when people complain, because this isn't the first person to do it. People complain about whenever we say I don't know. It's because we don't know.
I'll work on it. I don't mind the feedback, because some of the ones, they get out of hand and you forget. I'll work on it. I'll try to reduce the amount of I don't knows, but I actually don't know sometimes. Like with the arena caps, I don't know.
But it's also like whenever we're done saying something, like if we've explained a point like to the best of our abilities and we're kind of out of like things to say, then you and it feels like, I don't know, it feels like you still haven't gotten your point across. You just, I don't know, like, move on, I guess, at that point. It's weird. Striker Hero 1000 says, "Where is our console Odalita? Are we going to be behind 3 regions if this comes out and Tamer buffs win?"
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Striker. That sucks. They
does suck.
are getting Odalita at the end of March, but it's 6 months late.
Aspers says, "Rezlar sounds like he'd rather play a fighting game instead of an MMORPG. I understand his point, though. If all you want to do is PvP, the game should provide you with tools to progress PvP through PvP, like an exclusive set of gear that you could buy with exclusive currency and stuff like that. Of course, this set should only be effective in PvP situations, so it doesn't make the rest of the game, i.e. PvE, irrelevant." Well, I mean, if that was set at the beginning of the game, then maybe, but it's too late at this point. We're limited to one set of gear. It's too late to do separate sets, but I know other games have that where it's like you have a completely separate set of PvP gear or whatever.
Yeah, unless it's a set you don't have to work for and you just get the whole set and that's for PvP, then I can understand that.
Well, at that point, that's just equalized, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anonymous Gamer says, "Even if it's only 150 to 250 mil an hour from RBF would be okay. I just want more avenues to progress. Running in circles, killing mobs gets boring after a while, and life skilling has never been fun to me." At 4530, sounds like Frosty is RNG carried again. The one of the biggest holes in Choices table, the rewards are based partly off of how many people are in the RBF at the end of the game, but we all know people can be toxic and can/will leave right before the end of the match to screw someone else over. If you have that part of points based off of the 10-minute mark where nobody else can join yet, losing team still has a chance to win, but there could be boosting by people leaving after the 10-minute mark, allowing the friend on the other team to win, though we can just stick to flat win-loss reward, no scaling.
They're not going to say Frosty's RNG carried after his rant today.
Yeah, no. I don't think it would be fair. I think my RNG in tier 1 and 2 was pretty average. Maybe I got a little bit lucky in 2. 2 didn't feel that bad because I know some of my friends also got, screwed. But yeah, no, 3 is just the complete opposite. I mean, people that I was like 4 or 5 days of dailies ahead of are now 2 weeks ahead of me. Off of less playtime. By far.
Murderkind says, "When I played Rift, you could do PvP for gear. The gear was also specifically for PvP. Great system. Not sure if it ever changed, though." Yeah, there's a couple games that have systems like that where the PvP gear is separate. Stephen A. Smith. "Both BDO and Lost Ark are pay to win games. That being said, I'll stick with BDO. That being said, BDO should have a RBF that's gear capped." What is this gear cap stuff? We should stop saying gear capped and start saying equalized.
I think it's, you know what it is? It's the SA block situation where they nerf S block.
Exactly. Like, their attempts at caps have always been so fucking awful. Stop saying caps. Start saying equalized gear. Sheesh. Remy says, Rizlar, if you want to PvP without playing the rest of the game, can't you just play the emulated servers? I love this idea where it's like, because I only want to participate in this one part of the game, I shouldn't play the game at all. That's a really interesting take. This is an MMORPG, which means doing things to get treasure and stats. If you just hand it to people, the game will become as irrelevant and boring as emulated BDO servers. I love that I'm asking to be handed gear, not just can I make more than 6 million silver an hour doing RBF. No, I definitely in this podcast said, why am I not 700 gear score right now for free? Give me 700 gear score without any work whatsoever. That is exactly what I said, and you were perfectly right with this comment. Empyrean Dreamer says, what Rezlar is describing is basically Guild Wars 2. In Guild Wars 2, you have a range of PvE content and structured PvP, which is totally separated from other content with no gear levels or skill points required, but your build and gear is still fully customizable. There is also World versus World, where it meets halfway. Your actual gear / level, etc. does matter. All three playstyles shower you with rewards equally, and nothing is forced. You can also choose different reward pathways in each, so you can basically progress anything by doing any activity. Even cosmetics are covered to a degree. For example, if you want a skin from a specific dungeon, then you can actually get it from PvP. The progression is also well done since there's no long mandatory story. You can level in any way you want, including PvP and crafting. The second you hit cap, you just buy an exotic set and go straight into raids if you want, or you can get the gear doing dungeons and fractals. For PvP, you can jump in the second you get out of the tutorial, and there's extensive practice zone where you can test builds, practice mechanics, duel players, etc. Anyway, I agree with Rezlar, and the new RBF proves people want things like this, but ideally equalized and rewarding enough to be legit progression path.
I wouldn't want it to go as extreme as Guild Wars 2. I just think the ranked arenas need to be equalized. Guild Wars 2 borderline equalizes you for PvE as well, so it's like, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm that into that, because gear progression, I think, is one of the motivating reasons people play a lot of MMOs, and it's one of the reasons why Guild Wars 2, for a lot of people, not saying for everyone, I know it's still like a good game in its own right, but a lot of people just get bored of it, and you don't really feel much different when you get exotic gear.
Say so? Says, sorry, very long text, 810. This has been the case in BDO forever. How long did we grind History and Aquin? How long did we grind Stars and Sacrea? Some still do. Lost Ark is so refreshing, and more time goes by, the less I miss BDO. Probably completely moving over. I love how gear progress in Lost Ark is so much easier. Excuse me, and it makes me have fun with friends possible. BDO literally is a grinding simulator that has no relevant group content besides occasional Alloons and other 2 group spots in Elvia. The only thing that kept me playing BDO is the combat and the time I've put in. I haven't enjoyed actually playing the game at all in the last 1.5 years. Also, the community is just hostile and toxic 24/7, flexing their weird EP-ness and call other people gearlets and snowflakes. It's guild drama and politics, guildless karma bombers on their alts accounts, people trying to feed you to mobs in hopes of making you lose shit you grinded for. BDO community is such a shithole. I could go on and on about what's bad about BDO and not getting new content for so long. It's just a huge L, and I'm not interested anymore. Thankfully, Lost Ark finally releasing here. I'm done with BDO. I enjoyed this podcast a lot and probably keep listening every time it comes out, but I sincerely hope it will still have Lost Ark topics because I like the 3 of you. You did an amazing job. P.S. Also, I've been saying this for years, the scaling of gear in BDO is just not new player and entry friendly. We talk about soft caps without understanding what a soft cap is. The gear in BDO is giga late game scaling and is actually not capped at all. Hidden AP locked behind sheet AP brackets, etc. These are all systems that make it hard to make PvP enjoyable, and I know you guys will think, yeah, this is a gear that's speaking, but that's totally besides the point. Someone with 700 gear score will mow down everybody 680 and below, while the difference between a 620 and a 600 gear score player is marginal. The gear is scaling like crazy, and we still fool people with terms like soft cap. If the end game gear goals would actually be marginal upgrades, it would be way more fun for everybody, unless you are someone with an ego issue that only cares about one skilling people. You are not actually interested in the integrity of PvP if you like how the combat in PvP in regards to the gear works. Even the caps, people are circumvent those caps and are still way stronger than new players trying to enjoy PvP on an entry level. This gear scaling in combination with the shit community and gear progression just makes BDO an unpleasant experience for everybody below 700 gear score right now. PPS, the major difference in these games, people that like doing stuff solo and flex in guild and class Discord will like BDO. People that enjoy playing games with other people will most likely prefer Lost Ark. Woo!
Alright, so outside of your abyssal dungeons and your guardian raids, you're basically solo like 95% of the time in Lost Ark. I play I'm playing. I have so many hours. I would say of my 450 hours, I've been together in a group for about 15 of them, and then I think so some of his points are certainly valid. Someone with 700 gear score is not mowing down someone with 680 and below. Like the 680 can completely defend themselves against 700. I don't know where that came from. Maybe 700 versus 630 or 650, kind of, but not 680. If you're within 20 gear score, you absolutely can defend yourself against someone that's 700 gear score. I think. I mean, at the end of the day, you like you said yourself, so you haven't been into the game for a year and a half, so everything feels exponentially worse for you. But some of the stuff in there is wrong. I do agree that the Lost Ark community overall feels a little bit more pleasant and positive, but I think it's also still fairly early days. The only part where they're really toxic and negative is if you have something you don't like about the game, you just get absolutely shit on by a large majority of the population. It's like, nope, they're not doing this for pay to win. Nope, they're not doing this. They're doing this, blah, blah, blah. That's your fault. You know, this whole, if you're not in Argos, you wanting to be there is your own dumb fault, and stop wanting to be in that new content. That's the only thing where it's like they are as toxic or more toxic than BDO players. But outside of that, yeah, most BDO players I think are more toxic. Although I think just killing people and feeding people to mobs, I don't know if that's that toxic, because it's just kind of like part of the game. I know like open world PvP isn't just inherently toxic to me, but I some people don't feel that way, so it just depends. That's all. But overall, yeah, you're done with BDO, so that just be done with BDO.
You escaped. You have no reason to try to justify it.
All right, he added another comment, Riz.
Yeah, he's got another comment. I just like to point out, I'm on your stream and it says so Frosty viewers also watch, and they're all e-girl streamers for me. So
hell yeah.
I think you're part of the e-girl crew now. I think that's what that means.
I'm into that. I don't know what an e-girl streamer is exactly, but that's cool.
Yeah, CISO posted another comment. Why is no one doing the BDO dungeons if the rewards are so cracked? Grinding works is still what people do. Frosty is trying too hard to defend BDO. I am sorry. Also, I don't know what kind of people you have in your groups.
Let me stop right there. People do the dungeons. Why you don't do them, I don't know. But people definitely do the dungeons. There's definitely a ton of people that do the dungeons. They're weekly. They're gated. You would know that. It's kind of like, why don't people do the abyssal raids in Lost Ark? Well, they're weekly gated, so I can only do it one time. And then the rest of the time I have to do everything else. Like, I'm not trying too hard to defend. If you don't think the dungeons are efficient, then you just don't understand the dungeons in any way, shape, or form. I don't understand this notion of like, hey, in this game, I'm going to take the time to learn the dungeon. And then in this game, I'm not going to. And fuck that. I'm just going to do orcs. If you run the dungeons, like right now, so the trend is slowly becoming getting a pre-made group, static group, which is, people do that in every game. That's not unique to BDO. Getting a static group with enough of the gear recs to go to the dungeons and doing them back to back within 1 hour. And the amount of money you get is huge. And if you don't want to do that, if you don't want to do back to back, you get an efficient group. It's a lot easier, lower gear rec, to just do the Vaha dungeon. And it's incredibly efficient, and it's different than the orc grind, and it's a nice change of pace, and it's fun and very rewarding. And people do. I don't know, why does no one that you know do it, or why don't you do it? I don't know, but people definitely do the dungeons. Are they less popular? It's just that type of content. I don't think the BDO player base is as into that content as people think, because forever we just haven't had content like that. So the player base kind of mostly prefers to just play by themselves. So
yeah, I don't do the dungeons.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm not super big on like dailies and doing what's efficient and stuff. I just want to do stuff that's fun and make a little bit of money while I do it. So I just don't really, I'm not interested.
Resler will never hit 1370.
No, probably
he
not.
also goes on to insult me in the next. Can I just read the rest of this one, Rez?
Yeah, go ahead.
So he says, also, I don't know what kind of people you have in your groups, but I haven't been in Abyssal for 3 hours in Tier 1 and Tier 2. Also, Frosty totally neglects the endless chaos in Tier 3. I thought he's a grinder. Capital LOL. I guarantee you, say so, that I have 5 times more time in Chaos Dungeon grinding than you have. On one character, I have more Chaos Dungeons than all of your characters combined. I 100% guarantee it. I would bet my life on it that I have spent more time grinding Infinite Chaos Dungeons than you have on all of your characters on your account since the game came out. 100%. I literally spend like 3 hours a day after I've done like completionist shit and I'm bored of it, after I've done all the Chaos Dungeons on all my alts, etc., etc., etc. Once I've gone through and there's no more dailies to do, I literally just run Chaos Dungeons for hours and hours and hours. So I do that. I don't know why you think I neglect that. I do that. I absolutely do that. It doesn't make any sense, like what you're talking about. It's just like complete, like a dumb insult. And okay, so you got lucky with your tier 1 and tier 2 abyssal raids. So if you actually think that the average player is running through and one-shotting Sea of Indolence, you're an idiot. And then he says, I'm sorry, the backup gear argument is also BS, to be honest. No one enhances backup gear to actually wear. What? Everybody enhances backup gear to actually wear. What are you talking about? Who on earth in BDO enhances exclusively their main gear? That has never, ever been a thing. In what world do people exclusively enhance their main gear? Like, the large majority of people use backup gear and enhance that, so your actual gear doesn't downgrade. No one like, the only people that enhance their main gear are probably you and Bear. That's it. No one else does. And if you do, you absolutely should not be. That's just dumb. So like when you're sitting here well, I don't like BDO's enhance it because all my gear is going backwards. Then stop enhancing your main gear and learn about the game that you're playing. And then he says the enhanced system in Lost Ark is way better. And you guys make the argument that you can buy instead of enhancing in BDO literally proves it. I don't know how that proves it. All that does is just give you a second option. If you have a second option, it doesn't prove that one is better than the other. It's literally just an additional option. Also, I said this last week, I like the Lost Ark enhancement system, and I like the BDO enhancement system. I think they both have their pluses and minuses. I don't know, it would have been fantastic if you explained why you think it's way, way better. Like, it's way better in what way? Like, what is way better about it? Because in tier 1 and tier 2, yeah, you fail 5 times, you're guaranteed. Tier 3, that's not how it works. Tier 3 at 1400, absolutely not how it works. Like, the higher and higher you get, you have to fail dozens, 50, 60 times on a 2% chance to guarantee anything, which is months and months, takes 6 months, a year. Like, some of these pieces, I was talking to my friend Q-Bell, has been playing in Japan for a long time. Like, he literally is working on one piece for 5 months. How is that any different than BDO? It's the same goddamn thing. And it's like the only difference is in BDO, if you don't want to do that, you just grind it out and buy it. It's just a separate option. So yeah, if you think tier 1 and tier 2 dungeons are super free, fine. You have a static group, which is the same thing you should have learned to do in BDO, so you don't think that those dungeons are too hard or not efficient. I don't neglect Chaos Dungeons. I've done more Chaos Dungeons than you. I 100% guarantee it. And yes, everyone on Earth enhances with backup gear unless they're absolutely trolling. All right, Rose, you can continue.
Yeah. Daytime says, I also dislike the fact that Lost Ark limits your progress through dailies and weeklies. I'm doing Adventures Tome and Report for NPCs right now. Not saying I hate doing those horizontal progression tasks, but I would have much preferred if I could just continue upgrading gear without waiting for resets every day.
Yeah. I think part of the issue again is like we're missing a bunch of content. So it feels like that treadmill feels even smaller, like you're going through the same things a lot more often, whereas if we had all of the content or a lot more of it, it would feel like you're going through a lot more things before you get to like, all right, I'm at my limit, you know?
Lebo says, what about a daily that offers materials while still making serious money in RBF, so you get your 600 mil plus random box from RBF daily where you can get mats from? I wish just most, if not all of the silver was in materials, or perhaps it doesn't even have to be materials. It can be fucking RNG boxes. Like, I don't know. It's just more silver is probably not what the game needs right now. Zero says people win trade in other games usually to boost rank or for collectible / costumes, etc. RBF doesn't have a rank or anything to chase, so I assume there would be less people to try to exploit choices system. True, very true. Spoon Elite says TLDR, Lost Ark most definitely respects your time more than Black Desert. The game presents you with option to continue your progression past the dailies, but this form of progression is far less time efficient, which is why Frosty sank 100 hours into the game in the first week and feels like it doesn't respect his time. No, Frosty, you don't respect your time. Frosty, you're getting a lot of hate in this comment section.
Jesus. This is what happens when I'm not on the show.
Should I read the rest of this, or
Yeah.
are we good with that? We're okay. I'll read that.
Yeah, if you want, or
Frosty,
you could do the TLDR. It doesn't matter. This. Go ahead. I'll pick apart everything if we want. Do we have time?
Yeah. Well, that's up to you. You're the one who has to leave.
Okay. I'm gonna just say this. No, Lost Ark absolutely does not respect your time. Just like BDO absolutely does not, and most MMOs absolutely do not respect your time. They do it in different ways, but neither of them are sitting here like, hey, your time actually matters, and we're gonna make sure that you know that. Forcing me to either spend materials or gold leveling up alts or running through quest lines over and over and over again is absolutely a disrespect on my time and a waste of my time and is not fun. No one thinks it's fun. So just no. The Lost Ark does not respect your time, just like BDO does not respect your time. If you value progressing further in either of the two games, you have to invest more time, whether it's BDO or whether it's Lost Ark. This argument that you can log in, do 30 minutes of dailies and log out is, yes, that means you're okay with being behind. So just be okay with being behind in Black Desert Online as well, and voila, both games respect your time. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. XD says CSGO is probably more of an EU game than NA. It's still insanely popular over here, specifically in the Nordic countries. PUBG also went free to play, so I guess 1 billion of Chinese cheaters made free accounts after every match.
I guess it must be specifically the countries that can actually get into the game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I saw a PUBG YouTube video just not too long ago, actually, maybe a week ago, and that game has changed a lot. It looks really weird.
Is it better or worse? I always hated the graphics of that game.
So it suffers from Terra syndrome now. So before, where it was pretty realistic for the most part, now you have people in lobster costumes running around and shit. It's strange. It's very strange. Corinne Naoka?
Did they turn it into Fortnite, basically, it sounds like.
Yeah. In the progress. Corinne Naoka says, just allow us to make some money PvPing. Is that hard? Yes, it is hard. I wouldn't even mind if it was 150 mil an hour minimum, maybe 200 mil if we won all those matches. Just make it so that we can make some money. It should be accessories or things that help the market. Yep. But you should just go play a fighting game, Corinne. You just go play. You want to play a fighting game. This is
sounds
an MMO,
like you want
Corinne?
Street Fighter.
It sounds like you would be better off playing Mortal Kombat, Corinne, asking for 200 mil an hour PvPing. How dare you? How dare you? Go play a fighting game. This is an MMO.
Actually, you know what he wants to play? He wants to play that old game in the arcade, Rampage. You know, where you're you could be Godzilla or the dinosaur.
Yeah.
Go play Rampage, Corin.
Yeah. Rain Must Fall says, one way to address the orcs being so much stronger than everywhere else without nerfing it or buffing 15 spots individually would be adding Slayer from RuneScape. If you're unfamiliar with Slayer, imagine the Black Spirit gives you a task to kill 2,000 enemies in Histria. While you kill those mobs on task, they have an additional premium drop table. Imagine if you could drop Hooms from Histria or Ruins Rings while killing mobs on task. You're also getting Slayer experience, which is a life skill. The higher the Slayer level, the better the potential tasks you could get. Imagine Slayer exclusive grind spots and bosses that can only be defeated on task. Say you go underground at Bloody Monastery, packs are exclusively violent mobs. As an example of a task only grind spot, it's extremely powerful and hype, but not overpowered because you can't grind it off task.
Yeah, I like the idea. There's part of me that feels like it would make you feel like you have to do it if it's a daily that you're gated by.
Yeah.
But I do still like the idea a lot. I think that's cool, especially to make other grind spots interesting. I do think they did that in a weird way with the lightstones and artifacts, because if you want lightstones or artifacts, which has a chance to have a payout, you're not getting it in Elvia. So that part's been really cool about the Lightstone artifact update.
Yeah. Original HD says people shitting on Rezlar here still don't get him. He simply wants to PvP and progress. That's what he loves to do, which is fine in my opinion. Also, what he said was that to be able to PvP, you need to go through hours/years of progression to be able to PvP depending on content. I agree with Rezlar, even though I'm a PvX player, you should be able to play whatever you like. You sound like a fighting game player.
No, he's a fighting game apologist is what he is.
He sounds like a Mortal Kombat player, dude.
Maybe you want to play. Actually, let's change it. Rezlar doesn't even want to play a fighting game. He wants to play Dance Dance Revolution. I could just
Dance
tell.
Dance. No. Dance Dance Revolution Extreme, dude.
Is that the one where the arrows are diagonal? Top right, top left, bottom left,
I don't know
bottom
which
right?
one that was.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's like, it's crazy. You say, like, hey, you should make money PvPing, and everyone says you should stop playing the game. It's weird. Like, imagine if life skillers got the same treatment. Hey, can we make a little bit more money life skilling? Go play fucking, what, Minecraft or something. Like, it's such a weird reaction that people have to just saying, like, can I get a little bit more money doing the content I enjoy, please? Thank you.
That's my new. I'm doing that. Anytime someone says like, are they ever gonna buff farming or gathering? I'm gonna be like, go play Zoo Tycoon, loser.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so strange. It's such a strange reaction to, like, I don't know. It's so weird. So weird. Reese McMichael says, been playing BDO on and off since Xbox release, swapped over to PC after about a year, thinking of coming back again. Is there anything interesting going on in game? New classes, catch up mechanics, new spots, events, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that's been added to the game over the. How long has he been gone? He didn't really say how long he's been gone.
Yeah, he didn't say how long he's been gone.
I don't know how long he's been gone, so it's hard to say what's new or not. I mean, there's definitely like new stuff over the last like year or so that they've added and catch up mechanics that makes everything easier to get back into it. We actually haven't got a new class. It's probably like the longest stretch we've ever had without a new class since July last year. The Corsair. But
also,
yeah.
I meant to bring this up with an earlier comment. I don't remember who said it. Something about new players. Dude, there's so much catch-up mechanics in this game. Like, it's actually crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot. It's
like,
hard.
I don't understand. I really don't understand how you can say, like, new players are struggling to get to a competitive gear score. Like, are they going to be 700 gear score in a month? Almost certainly not, unless they're playing, like, 20 hours a day, get extremely lucky, and pay to win. But, like, you can get to a competitive gear score, even on non-capped content. Like, pretty easily.
Yeah, if you play a lot, you definitely can. And then if you take into account the caps, you definitely can play cap stuff pretty early on.
Yeah.
So this dude...
So there's always a lot of catch-up mechanics.
Paul in chat saying, gearing is easy right now. After 8 weeks fresh start, I'm 282 Kudum, 340 DP. That's so crazy. Dude, after 8 weeks when I started, I was like 91 AP. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
took a lot.
8 weeks after I started BDO, I was probably like 50 AP. Let's see here. Where was I?
Hold on. Fortispectus says, I tried to bring my new friend back to BDO. The journals completion alone demotivate him. New players need to complete journals, buy pets, buy maids. All right. They don't need to buy pets. They don't need to buy maids. That is false. And yeah, they have to do journals. Journals do kind of suck, but the journals, you literally just slow do them over time. Like you do one week, one another week. They're really not that bad. Your friend, if it demotivated him and he quit, it's because he doesn't like the game. You do not need to buy pets anymore. You do not need to buy maids. Absolutely do not.
Also, like, just don't do journals as like a new player. Like you don't have to like do this content that's fucking awful. Like, just, you can do it later. You can do it slowly over time. I don't know. That's weird. That's what I would tell. If someone said, like, I'm trying to enjoy BDO, but these journals, man, I'm just like, they fucking suck. I want to blow my brains out. I'd be like, well, stop doing them. Well, yeah, just go do something else that you would rather do. It's not that hard. Storm619 says, I love Choice's idea of the RBF. I am 330 Kudum and all of the high-end Orc spot and Bloody Monastery spot are mostly taken. I hate DFS, so I hop servers. Sometimes hop servers are still taken. The system lets me do something to make some gain as I wait for another server hop, and if that server is taken, then I just do another RBF. Just beautiful. Also, buff suck hash. Yeah, so we don't have to go too into this, but I find it extremely interesting that in this episode of the podcast, Choice presented a reward for PvP that is exclusively and entirely based independently on how you perform. And then the very next week, he argues against this in other PvP content. I just thought like
But he
that's
didn't. He didn't
interesting.
argue against it. He gave a way to just exclusively play the system that he was talking about last week, which I think went over a lot of people's heads. Is it was a way to exclusively PvP while progressing at the exact same rate as someone that exclusively PvEs their life skills. That's all it was. But the problem is, people are like, no. If I start the game in PvP, I should make more money than all the people that life skill and whatever because I'm talented.
Yeah. No, what I'm saying is that so in his proposed RBF changes, it was entirely performance based, whereas in the Arena of Solare, when we were talking about that, only partially performance based. That's all I'm saying.
But it wasn't really, because in RBF, you don't have to mention it. You just know you have your gear. Yeah, you need your gear for RBF.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. Unless you're doing season RBF.
Does anyone do... Season RBF is so cool in spirit, and then after the first day of seasons, it's empty.
Yeah, nobody does it anymore. Yeah. Guild Wars 2 solves Reservoir's problem. You can progress to the max gear through PvP only. Its arenas are gear capped. The game provides you with the arena only gear for free. Guild Wars 2 also has a node war system called World versus World. Combat is probably the second best combat system behind BDO. PvP modes even have unique rewards available only PvP. Of course, Guild Wars 2 has other problems, sadly, but every MMO has problems, so what can you do? Very true. That's what I think everybody needs to realize.
Have you tried Guild Wars 2?
I tried playing a little bit when some of my friends from BDO went and played it for a minute. It's interesting. I can definitely tell why people like it. I just couldn't I couldn't get into it. I really don't think I'm going to be able to play another MMO unless it has fully action combat, in all honesty. I think BDO's kind of ruined that for me. I think even Guild Wars 2, which has a hybrid system, which was the only reason I even really tried it, because I was like, okay, it has a hybrid system. I'll give it a try and see if I like it. And I get it, and it makes sense, and it's well implemented, but I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I'd have to really think about it. I don't know if I could agree that Guild Wars 2 is the second best combat system in MMOs. I don't know if I agree with that, because it is a hybrid system, which means it's tab target. At the end of the day, you could pretend you don't need the tab targeting, but if you use it, it's a lot easier.
I haven't played either of these games in a while, but I feel like in my heart of hearts, I feel like Vindictus was more fun than Guild Wars 2 in terms of the combat.
Vindictus probably is better, yeah. Now, Vindictus, though, I think, and again, I don't know that much about Vindictus, but I think overall it's just a worse game than Guild Wars 2, though.
Yes, absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind about that. But if we're talking specifically just about how the combat feels. I also never played Blade and Soul, so I can't weigh in on that. So, which I know is another game that people praise the combat.
The combat's fun in that game. It's also has elements of tab target too. That one's okay. It's yeah. That game has other issues, but the arenas are pretty fun.
Kiharu TH says the global achievement stats for Lost Ark on Steam is very interesting. 14.8% got the Gear of My Dreams, reach item level 302. 1.2% got the Superb Gear, reach item level 1300. This is the stats at the time of writing. Yeah, the achievements were bugged for a while. I don't know if they're fixed or not. But I definitely would notice when I logged off, I had a bunch of achievements that I did not actually achieve for some reason. If we use the players' numbers from all-time peak, 1.3 million players, it's about 200k players who reach T1, 16k players who reach T3. However, there's an issue with Steam achievement for Lost Ark as well. Many people reported getting various achievements despite only playing for 20 hours or so. Take it with a grain of salt. Yes, indeedy. Stats also imply that only the top 1% will be able to enjoy the Abyss raids. Argos recommended 1370 that they just announced. Heard the rumor that they might increase success rate and decrease the owning XP for 1302 gears so more players can participate in the new content. I'm just going to hold off on honing the tier 3 gears until Argos comes out. I guess it's supposed to be more time to do other things like collectibles and gearing up alts.
Yeah, I can guarantee you it is less than 1% that's doing Argos. Also, we didn't get those honing rates, unfortunately, that people thought. Also, I wonder how the stats are affected too by the number of bots, right? Someone asked me the other day, is Lost Ark actually have a really small player base and it's mostly just bots? And it's like, it definitely has a huge player base. I think like, obviously the all-time peak is a lot of players trying out the game for the first time. I would say right now, even though the numbers on Steam always show somewhere between 800,000 and a million, you could probably cut out about 100 to 150,000 of those and count them as bots, which means the game is incredibly popular. Still, like, if your average player base is 720,000, that is a lot of fucking people playing your MMO at one time.
Yeah, that's a shit
On
load.
just 2 regions, right? Or 3, whatever. It's not counting KR, Russia, or Japan.
Yeah. Sweet says, "Hey guys, all the stuff Choice suggested sounds excellent. We must be patient though. It'll take a bit of time for them to translate these amazing arena ideas into a language that the PA devs can understand. Soon after the dev team can start downloading the game, then with the combined effort of 150 employees from the figurine department, they will pause the production to develop a real-life RNG piggy bank for children aged 6 or below, parentheses, start early. I can see it being implemented in about 5 to 6 years' time, just before Doki VZ drops." While we are on
Oh
the
my
topic of
God.
exciting future stuff, the quote pay for itself RNG boxes are resetting tomorrow, Monday. Frosty, don't deny it. We all saw what you got on the stream. The game plays itself. Rizzler, I'm sorry. Frosty already has a team for 3 versus 3 tournament. Nothing personal. Update: he lost. Rizzler dodged the bullet.
Okay, I lost. We lost in the winners bracket, but we won 3 in a row in the loser bracket. All right, before being just completely obliterated. The one we lost at the end to knock us out of the tournament losers was not even competitive. We got farmed so hard, it was bad.
Rough.
Yeah, and the RNG boxes are the greatest thing they've ever added in this game.
Bloodwolf says, the Siege Silver rewards are so great. Do you know how much 500 mil to 2 bill is for a person that doesn't grind and only PvPs?
That is true.
Yeah, so I
But
just have to do other
just-
content. That sucks.
You just have to win. You just have to win Siege. Pretty easy.
Yeah. You just have to participate in Siege, which is arguably the worst PvP content that is in the game currently, and also win, which means being in, the top 1% of the gear to get into the best guilds in the game.
I kind of like Siege when there's actually a fight. But when
I
there's
don't.
not,
It's
awful.
too many. It's too many people.
Yeah, I do think the game overall, I don't know, man. This notion of 100
cut
man
guilds in half. Cut guilds in half, and I'd do Siege every Saturday, probably. In all honesty.
Yeah. All right. The other comment section now.
Yep, that was only part 1.
28 more to go. Woo!
Yeah, that was more than 30 though. I didn't count exactly how many, but I remember it was more than 30. So this is the lesser of the two. So let me scroll down. Hopefully there's nothing I have to ban. Belly BDO says, "Ooh, I got here first." Yes, indeed. Maximum Effort says, "Haven't played BDO in 10 months. Haven't listened to a single podcast since then. How long will it take me to catch up?"
Well, we probably average about 2 hours and 40 minutes per show. 10 months, we'll say, including missing things, 3 shows a month. So 3 times 2.5, that's 7.5 hours a month for 10 months. So about 75 hours. You'll be caught up.
There you go. Battle Hot Dog says, "It would be great if they colored the enemy names different shades of red or orange or something. If you have 2 gillies in the enemy team, it's going to be hard to differentiate." Yes and yes. Fad Zikrawi? I probably butchered that name. I apologize. Says, "Nice." Yeti Wookie says, "You can see a giant-ass name above Gilly users in today's game. The fact Rezlar still can't track that is kind of sad, my dude. Might check your eyes out. I've never had trouble tracking even the old Gillies, let alone the giant text that plastered above them. It's just leftover PTSD at this point from the times of them actually being useful. Your hand should not need held this hard at this point in the game, sir."
Tell him, Yeti.
Yeah, that's interesting because no, that's actually quite
Because no.
incorrect. There's a very big difference between the one single line of text above players' names and literally minimum 3, more likely 4 lines of text forming a tower above their head, not to mention a guild icon to the side. It's definitely a lot less to look at, and it's a lot easier to track when there's a tower of text that you can follow, as well as a little picture. So
I'm gonna say this, Yeti.
Yeah.
They needed to remove the ghillie suit usage in RBF so we can see what their actual names are. However, I don't agree that it was hard to see the player in the ghillie suit because the text is there and so is their health bar. But that's just me. It was hard to differentiate or know who you're fighting, which was a problem. Especially if you go in with a team and you're like, hey, kill Frosty on his Kuno, but my name says Unknown Adventurer. Then you can't do it. But I don't think it's hard to see Unknown Adventurer. It's like it's actually like larger than most people's names.
Yeah, I don't know. If you're going to argue with me that it's just as easy to track Unknown Adventurer as it is to track 4 lines of text and a guild icon,
What is the fourth line?
I don't believe you.
Oh, if people have a title?
You have guild, title, family name, and character name, and they're all different colors, by the way, which also makes it really easy to track.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually, yeah, to me it looks exact. I mean, it's just giant text. I don't know. They're both super easy, I guess. I don't see the difference personally, but.
I mean, I'm not saying Unknown Adventure is untrackable. I'm just saying it's a lot easier to track a tower of text than one line. But there's also the secondary problem, which is fixed now because they don't allow ghillies anymore. Which thank Christ. Which is that it was read as same as the health bar, the same as your teammates' health bars, and it was all just a bunch of red that made it really confusing to track things. So, yeah, I don't know. Also, this person definitely abused ghillies and is mad that they got nerfed. 100%.
100%.
Empyrean Dreamer says, as expected, another awful attempt to equalize. I expected it to be bad, but these caps are ridiculous. Imagine not running any evasion gear, yet still hitting both caps and getting 2-shot regardless. My main is evasion, so I guess this content will be dead on arrival for me, which really makes me want to quit, given this has been my most wanted feature since launch. Would it be so hard to have a second page on our equipment window which only allows Arsha gear to be slotted, then add a wider variety of Arsha gear so people can customize and have all instance PvP use that gear set? If it goes live with the Stum design, they need to reduce the AP cap, increase the evasion cap, and put a cap on HP. Edit, the new lab changes made me facepalm so hard I now have a serious headache. Has become crystal clear the devs do not understand how numbers work. Yes, let's just do a flat 25% for everyone. That will be perfect. Also, let's leave HP. It won't be a problem. Absolute brainlets at PA. If they can actually scale down gear by a percentage, then why haven't they just picked a specific gear score and have the system try to scale everyone as close to that as possible? This is without a doubt the best solution outside of having totally separate gear exclusively for Arena.
Yes.
Oh, nothing? Okay. Yeah, yes. Yeah, no, what was it? Tome of Synchronicity. Should definitely be a thing.
Yes.
John Ivan? Yeah, Ivan? Maybe? I don't know. Is it Russian? Maybe. John Ivan Espia? This is confusing. V's should be removed in this. I disagree. Do you guys think V's should be removed in the arena?
I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it either way, to be honest. I'd be fine with both. I just, I don't think it should be only used 1 minute into the second round.
Yeah, the way that they have it implemented is the worst way.
Yeah, either let me use it or make it so you can't use it at all. One or the other.
I think
it's more fun being able to. Yeah, being able to.
Yeah, I agree.
I think once per best of 5.
People get caught out and they get caught in combos where they're KD based and they can't V anyways. So I mean, you can definitely work around it if they try to hold their V.
I think once per. Now, I'm not saying this is the best solution, but for me personally, I think it would be interesting if you could do it once per best of 5. So there's some strategy on like, it's okay if I die here versus like, okay, this round I'm gonna use the V. I think that would be interesting for whatever, but I don't know.
Just have it be off cooldown at the start of the match. So if you use it early enough, maybe you get to use it again at the end if you can drag out the games long enough.
Yeah, that works.
But if you hold on to it for a round or two, then you're definitely only going to get one use out of it. I think that's strategy enough, honestly. Minaria posts a dissertation Holy fuck, had to pause the podcast, but choice just spoke from my soul. I've been saying this for over a year now. If we give everything to everybody who asks, what's the long-term plan? Absolutely capping everything, making all contents available to someone who barely graduated season. Where's the point in even playing anymore? BDO lives from having people be in the world for long periods of time after doing different contents, being around and producing items for the economy. If we make everyone just progress completely irrelevant, except for the niche or not profitable content, at this point, Guy Finaloons and Crypt, but why would anyone do this if you could just do orcs and make more money without risk in the larger scale of things? Why even play the game? Sure, there should be content for casuals. There should be an option to queue up for arenas without having to get to 700 gear score first. Absolutely agree, but gear needs to matter somehow or the game is empty. Unlocking the arenas with certain gear, for example, would be an option. I also agree with Trace's suggestion about gear sets. The old trials were the right step. IMO, we had DP and AP options for all slots. Give us that. Let us choose EG between Begs or Libers, Distos, or Narcs, something like that. Gives at least some build variety, because giving the exact same gear to all classes does not work. You cannot give Shy full AP gear and expect it to perform as well as on Silk Ranger. You cannot give DP heavy gear to a DK and expect it to perform as well as Striker. There needs to be some build diversity. If you insist on it, you can make it class based on the class. That's fine. Give every class set of gear they can perform well with, or let everyone choose between two choices for every slot. Just something to make choices meaningful. I do know that that makes it harder to play on mains, but I have another suggestion for that. Currently, there is just way too many loading screens. 6 ages to queue. You can't queue with friends. 15 loading screens. You spend 10 minutes for a single duel and fight for maybe 10% of that time. 30% if a match goes long. That's not worth it. So do it like they did with old Shadow Arena. You used to load into a part of BA, which worked as a lobby. You could team up there, talk to people, choose the games, and after the game, you'd get ported back there. This would solve a bunch of issues. Less loading screens between individual games, less waiting time, options to find friends to queue with inside the game, buying fucking pots from vendors / changing skills, equipping / setting battlefield gear, knowing how many people are actually queuing. They also already talked about adding dedicated PvP gear. They had queuing done for SA. They had gear choices for BA. They had pot vendors for AOA. Why the fuck do they lack so many of the things they already did right once before? That is one thing I don't understand. Also, that's my TLDR. PA, stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Use the things you already have. Cut out things from BA, AOA, SA, trials, etc. that worked, instead of making everything more complicated and annoying than it needs to be.
True. Fair enough. Good points. Good points all around.
Alrighty. Moist Meatloaf says, so Edit 3 decided to rewrite it all. Was just gonna post it on Reddit, but think would reach more from y'all. TLDR, kinda got into her and turned out like a book.
Huh?
What? Is this Scottish? What am I reading?
I think
Kinda got into her and turned out like a book. So either fully geared or semi-customizable geared, i.e. 2-pin Unkafrid armor and Tet weapons and accessories. But let us build evasion, accuracy, AP, monkey hybrid, whatever. Also level and silver barrier to entry. IMO geared will need it. So went back, listened to Choices RBF payout, as I really liked it. Took some inspiration for 2 ideal situations for arena idea. 1 uncapped, fully geared. I've never liked the way PA caps trials feel in this scenario. Leads more towards Choices gear score. Matters for payout costs. Good low gear score players hit higher ladder ranks for higher payouts to gear further. However, I would like to know what happened to the balancing interns they hired. Idea 2, semi-equalized silver wall barrier to entry. In the scenario leveled 62, the BS will offer Black Spirit, that is, will offer a quest that costs 1 billion silver to unlock the arena, and Black Spirit gives a new trade option where for 250 mil each piece you can buy Solare gear, 2-pin non-Caphras boss gear usable only in arena, and Tet accessories would be a chest, dim, since no evasion option. Red nose arguably only for cheaper Fallen God. Shoes, Urus and Muskins, helm, griffins, pin, ulti green, 1 evasion people use. Gloves, get where I'm going by now. Pin weapons, like to think I don't have to list them out at this point. For accessories, give us Tet Distos, Tongue Grad's eyes. TBH, I don't know what ones evasion players like to use. This allows builds diversity and sense of expression, could go even a step further and offer crystals for Solare too. I think this will keep kill speeds not too high or low, making skill more important than the paywall of 2 billion barrier. For entry, we'll keep brand new people away from it and for a little while, and scaring some people who think it will hinder further progression aren't feeling rushed or craving a PvP ladder of it. Rewards, we need them high enough to
Oh
keep
my
queues
God.
relatively low, especially as it's only best of 3, should be best of 5, as games will be maxed around 10 minutes and shortest less than 3. If I'm having 3-minute match but waiting 10 to 15 minutes for a fight, I'm grinding. If anyone is at my spot when it's all over, at least I'll have another one while I wait for queue, I guess. PvE players probably don't want us to have low queue times, and rewards too, as people who just want to PvP won't DFS them or flag on them. Propose rewards, say 5 matches an hour, low end, T100 mil. And for each rank gain, another 20 mil, T1 Prime making 100 mil, T2 200, so forth. Would be nice to have MVP reward. May as well be double payout for the match. Personally, don't think losing should have any payout to encourage no half-assing, AFK, etc. Holy
Wait,
fuck!
someone said, "Can you start again?" They missed the middle.
No.
Do you see my? Can you see my stream, Res?
Yeah.
This is how I feel. All right. Fair points.
Fair points. Oh my god.
Jesus, dude.
Oh, okay. Hey, TLDRs, guys.
That you actually powered through. Considering that whole thing was in quote Scottish, you did pretty well.
Dude.
You did,
Holy
you did
shit.
fantastic.
Oh, okay. Holy fuck. Not too many left. Anonymous Gamer says, I think Choice was looking at this in a very narrow view. The number one thing people talk about in BDO is the combat. If new people can jump into this game mode and get hooked on, can hook them on the gameplay, that's more new players, because let's face it, level 10 character is boring compared to level 61 character with all their skills. Cap gear never works. We learned this years ago when some of the pet classes would 1 or 2 skill people and everyone else had to full combo or recatch them. I do agree, remove caps on all siege and most node wars to bring back people's sense of progression, but range/caster damage have to come way down. Also, you were looking at it, no progression in just a PvP aspect. I know a lot of people who absolutely don't give a shit about the PvP and love the combat, so they only PvE. Last I checked, they're bringing out more PvE content. PA needs to find a good way to equalize the gear in Solare, give it small amount of money per hour, and if you want to go back in your circles and grind zones, go back to your circles at grind zones, but let it show new people what the game is like at the end game, make everything else normal, so no more different PvP rules for RBF versus Node Wars versus Siege versus Open World.
Also, some fine points. Rez, also the guy before he's in chat, he said he apologized in advance and that he's a drunk Canadian, not Scottish. And then someone
Drunk Canadian
followed up and said,
Scottish.
Today I learned that drunk Canadians speak Scottish.
Oh boy. All right. Tong says, honestly, for both Solare and RBF, if I just made a few 100 mil an hour, 200, 250 maybe, I would feel fine with PvPing. Even when I'm trying for for gear gains. That's like 100 CAFRs per hour-ish edit. I think Choice is forgetting that a lot of new players hit seasons, which require you to be using season mats. I don't actually remember where you can grind at after seasons, but you would definitely still have the seasons that new players would want to do. Sorry, I scrolled when I was reading that, and then when I scrolled, I lost my footing.
You lost your footing? You fell down?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Andros Luingo says, adding to the discussion about rewards and the complaints about new player not grinding on spots if they can make money in PvP. Sorry, I just skipped right past Tong's comment. If you want to make money in RBF or in Arena Solare, then you should go play a fighting game.
Yeah.
Adding to the discussion about rewards and the complaints about new players not grinding on spots if they could make money on PvP, Arena, or whatever else, then grinding is the solution. Don't give silver, give materials to upgrade that can't be sold in the market until you reach XAP, XDP. That way you could avoid the issue of the limit by the level that could be boosted to level 61 in 2 hours. There are so many ways to improve the game to make it fun that feels bad to see how PA is letting it rot.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing. Okay, moving on. Joe 6-Pack 14. God damn, that is a fucking... I love that name.
I found
maybe tier system... Sorry, what?
I found some ex-BDO players that just wanted silver. They're playing fighting games now. They're playing Smash.
Yeah.
They're all at this Smash tournament.
Joe 6-Pack 14. Maybe tier system with different caps and rewards would work, and having the top tier be uncapped. Each season there could be promotions and relegations based on performance. This could also be split up based on class of character, so each class would have equal representation, so that it just doesn't come down to everyone playing the same 3 OP classes.
Kuno, am I right?
Lebo says, yeah, this was a very interesting discussion. Love the tier idea. Sound points made. Great episode. Crying, laughing emoji. Razlor just doesn't want to put in the effort.
That's right. He's
What
lazy.
can I say, man? I'm a fighting game player.
That's right.
Devact says, solid show again, gents. Enjoyed listening to Hedon. Blessed choice for having the patience of a saint when dealing with monkey brain Rezlar. A few things. The current form of the arena is a letdown. They were supposed to work on rewards with the game mode structure being finished for a while already, but that's clearly not the case, and it makes me mad because they lied to our faces. Again. Even just reading the announcement, the caps already made me not want to play. True equalized gear would be neat, but as you also briefly bring up, there'd still be the problem that not every class works as well at any given gear point. There's a whole tangent about flat DP not being as effective on my class as on others that I could go on now, but I'll spare you this time. I think I also mentioned this in your Discord, Frosty, but it would be a shame for them to release artifacts giving us more build variety, only for that to just be restricted in arenas again. So as dumb as it probably sounds, I actually want caps, but they need to allow for some cheese to be possible, aka allowing human damage to go past the AP cap and provide ways for carpet gamers to do their thing. I'm fine with the tiered payout for the arena as proposed by choice only if I never know how much gear the other players in a match actually have and how much they earn. The advent of Garmoth.com has already brought too many people boasting about their gains. I don't also need the game to constantly remind me that my time is worth less than some other people's, even if that's completely fair.
I made some good points. I don't know about running human damage past caps.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up that as well. Of course, the DK, right? Obviously. Yeah, I don't know about that because then you're gonna run into the issue of super geared people are gonna be doing what Hedon does, which is spend hours crafting the absolute most cheese build you could possibly do, while new players are just trying to enjoy their time with their Tuvala gear, right? That's kind of the problem with this cap thing and why it just needs to be equalized. At least that's one aspect of the problem. So,
yeah, I do like in this comment section, you're the monkey brain and people are going after you. The last comment section, they were really after me. This is good.
Yeah.
Split it up. Next week, Nayasha, you're going fucking down.
Well, there were a couple comments on 142 that, fighting game, etc. So, but I'm just catching a lot more of it this episode.
Yeah. Well.
Admori says, thank you for this episode. It gave me an idea regarding PvP reward system of BDO. Here's my idea/opinion. First, I respect both Rezlar and Choice, but they're both wrong. One, for Choice, ranked PvP rewards must not be gear-based. Counter-argument, fairness is already an issue in BDO. Don't put any unfairness to the game. 2, for Rezlar, player progression must be rewarded more than players who just came to the game. 3, PvP rewards must be random boxes. Rewards such as Dust, Cron, Memfrags, Caphras, Clean Accessories, Gear, other life skill loot/rewards. If I, in my PvP reward bundle, get a life skill loot, I'm going to blow my brains out. Don't you fucking dare.
You don't want to base Manos Ho for your efforts in the arena?
No.
Well, you're just greedy then.
4, use family fame and injury contribution to measure player progression. PvP reward boxes shall elevate based on player progression. Higher tier reward boxes give more dust, crons, memfrag, higher level accessories. Okay. I'm gonna lose my fucking mind, bro. Use energy contribution to measure player progression. Family fame, I understand, because there's multiple ways of getting family fame. Energy and contribution. You mean the things that you can get from not participating in PvP? Crazy. It's almost like the whole point of wanting to get money from PvP is I just want to PvP and make money. Why are you trying to force me to do other content to get money in PvP?
In fairness, if the rate was low just to prevent botting, and it was just like, hey, have you played the game and do you have a character that got through Calpheon, then it would be fine.
But that's not what this person is saying. This person is saying, basically because a life skiller has more family fame energy contribution than me, because they life skill, of course they do. They go and do a PvP arena, they make 700 million silver. I'm in that same arena, I have lower energy and contribution, I make 300 million silver. What the fuck?
Then play Killer Instinct.
Jesus fucking Christ. Stop trying to make you do other content to receive rewards for PvP. It's so bizarre.
Someone in chat wants to know if you'd be okay with receiving Carrick mats for your PvP rewards.
No.
Why?
Fuck.
Why?
I just
That
give me
boat is
some
so
fucking
good.
dust and Caphras and some fucking enhancement materials and a little bit of silver. It's not that fucking hard.
What if it's not about money and you get sailing EXP?
Literally, just give me the Shadow Arena rewards. You know what? Fuck all of this. Just bring back Shadow Arena. That's the real solution to all of this.
Yeah, the
Jesus
Shadow Arena,
Christ.
the Shadow Arena rewards this thing. I actually opened that box and looked through because it's still on Codex. You'd be averaging about 70 mil an hour. You're only barely making more than what RBF gives you these days.
Isn't that fucking insane?
Yeah, back then it was so much money though.
That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's just outdated now. Unless you get RNG carried with an accessory, I guess.
5. A designated NPC shall be assigned to exchange these reward boxes, reward tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, etc. 6. Players can only unlock high tier rewards by doing quests. I'm gonna fucking lose my goddamn mind. TRDR, use family fame based rewards. I'm fine if you want to use family fame. I understand it as a barrier to entry. Basing the rewards off of non-PvP content, it's the most pointless thing. No other content is like this. That's so fucking bizarre that people want to do this. In what world, to make money in PvE, are you forced to go PvP? Are you forced to go life skill? Like, why are people trying to set these limitations on it? It's so fucking bizarre. I'm so confused by it.
In fairness, this is the same guy. So you're technically not a separate person.
I know, but there's other people are like arguing the same thing. I've seen other people say like the same shit. Or it's like, to me, this person is basically in the same camp as the fighting game people. It's so strange. Why can I not just make money PvPing? What is so wrong about me going and PvPing and making money by PvPing? And it's not the money I make isn't based off of grinding. It's not based off of life skilling. It's not based off of questing. It's based off of PvP.
Where's Eumenidai?
I don't understand it.
We need the fighting game people meme image.
Jesus fucking Christ, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. Deadly Zero says, just add PvP rank progression, higher rank equals more money. Yes! Just do that! That would be perfectly fine. I don't think anybody would have a problem with that, because the mega geared people would naturally climb high because they're geared. As long as they have a bare minimum amount of skill, they would naturally climb above the gearlets, and then the gearlets that are super good at the game would also climb, because the gear disparity wouldn't affect them as much because they're just that good. That would be perfectly fine. Original HD says, not gonna lie, it isn't what I expected. I wish it had like Lost Ark, respawn and go in. The waiting simulator is going to kill Arena already. Yeah, do you think it would have been better to have it be like a deathmatch instead of elimination?
So like a 3v3 and the team with the most kills at the end wins?
Yeah. So deathmatch where you respawn instead of elimination where you're dead, you stay dead until the next like round essentially. Maybe that could just be a separate thing.
Yeah, that could be fun. I don't mind the best of 5. I think the best of 5 with lower load times and wait times than what we had would feel pretty all right. And maybe this guy wouldn't feel as bad about it. But I think that version would be interesting too. I'd be happy with either one at this point.
Yeah, true. With the best of 5 and the reduced load times, hopefully, it definitely is not going to feel as bad. Zero says, unknown adventure and camo is kind of garbage compared to the 3 to 4 lines of color text you see without camo. Sure, something's there, but 25% of what would normally be in case of a dim gray. Thank you. Lost Souls says, feel like even if the gear v gear, some classes will outdo some classes. They need to make higher end gear spots BES be the best money in the game. I don't think that S was supposed to be there. Higher end gear spot be the best money in the game. Well, isn't it?
Some classes will definitely outdo some classes. Yeah, for sure. That point doesn't matter. Still need the arena. Higher gear and spot best. I don't know. I have no idea. I think what he's saying is that
I think he's just saying nerf works. I think he's
saying if it requires more gear, it should also reward more.
Yeah. He's saying nerf orcs and buff like some of the really high end spots, probably. Maybe. I don't know. That's what I think. Anon says BDO PvP will never be fair equal because of the FPS advantages, desync, and damage system that PA will not fix. I'd recommend Lost Ark or Guild Wars 2 for MMO PvP because it's plug and play with cosmetic rewards. Arena Solare is dead on arrival.
Stop. That's so dumb. Such a bad take.
Bad take. Bad take.
Yeah, there's definitely no advantages to anything in Lost Ark. Everyone's just completely fair, equalized, and on the same playing field.
Yeah, there's definitely desync in Lost Ark. I've seen it happen like quite often.
A lot.
Because I exclusively do arenas, basically.
Go ask all the people that were like, well, I want to play on West with my friends, but I have to go on East because of my ping.
Yep.
And
it's
go
unfortunate.
ask Sammy every time one of his teammates dies and his game freezes, and then he gets hit by something because his game froze because one of his allies dies. It's it's not perfect. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't get the stuff. Like this is like this. I don't know. You can like more than one thing. It's fine.
Triconex says, at this point, after all this crap, I just wish for an uncapped arena. I'm 650 gear score, good, but I know I'll get smashed from time to time by 700 plus gear score person. We need lobby to be created in the background, and you get ready pop-up to confirm, get in if all confirm, or back to waiting outside if somebody rejects/ignores. Spending time inside of the arena waiting for teams to fill in is ridiculous, and actually is a terrible thing in the matter of balancing teams, as you can't rearrange players as you wish when somebody upsetting the team balance appears, when it could be fixed by just swapping people around in teams. If you really hate the idea of uncapped gear, then let us pick our sets like what we had with old trials, where you could pick and choose boxes, select whatever you wanted, several types of gear types available. We also need a vendor inside with potions, but also possibly one silver food drops to let us set the stats for the fight, and let it just be not usable outside the arena with buffs being taken away after arena ends. This also wouldn't be necessary if we could have those gear sets to select. They could just have stats maxed up for us. It seems like most people are on the same page with
I have a new idea.
Okay.
When you queue into the arena, it should automatically change everyone's gear into the highest geared player that's logged in on that region at that moment. So it's totally random every time you go in. Sometimes you have Choice's gear, sometimes you have Divios's gear. Shit, maybe sometimes if you're RNG carried or no one's on, you have Frosty's gear. How fun would that be? Sometimes you have Reslar's gear.
What if
the servers just came up and you queued, so you're just in all Black Star?
What if instead it matches to the highest the highest gear of the person in the match?
Ooh.
Yeah. So if if Divios is in the match, we all get evasion gear.
All right, imagine this bullet point. Here we go. Tell me the truth if you'd be surprised by this or not. So, like, we heard your complaints. Here's what we decided to do. If you join a match and a player's lower gear score, the player with the higher gear score will have a debuff, and then they'll have a list of the debuffs. So, for example, if I go into the arena and I have 690 gear score and I go against someone that has 730, for every 10 gear score difference between us, the person with higher gear score has a 50% move speed debuff on them, stacked 4 times, so they can't move at all.
Jesus.
they just have paralyze on them times 4. They're just constantly slowed, so they can't move at all. And at the end of the match, before either player can leave, the person with the higher gear has to apologize for playing the game so much and getting that gear score, or it doesn't let you leave.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
No, that's a very necessary component.
It would make Kuno the same speed as everyone else. That's true.
Frosty, before we get off, what if anything do you legitimately think they're going to change in the Arena Solare, and when is it coming out?
Well, I think we'll see more changes on Thursday. I think it'll probably come out in April. And I think that, unfortunately, all they're probably going to change is just that 25% is either going to go up or down.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. I don't know. That's how I see it happening.
Are we gonna get any rewards for it?
Yes, there will be rewards, but I have a feeling they'll be like not in-game progression rewards. It'll be based on ladder, and it'll be at the end of seasons.
I see.
Is my guess.
So instead of getting it for every match, you'll get rewards at the end of the season based off of your positioning.
Yeah, you'll get like maybe if you're, I don't know what the names, I forget off the top of my head, but let's say you're somewhere in the middle tier that's equal to about gold. You're like gold rank 10. You'll receive like a Shikatu box, and then if you got GM, you'd get Shikatu shiny box that gives 5 more memory fragments. Yeah. And an Arsha weapon skin for 7 days. Dude, I do want to real quick address one really funny comment. Just because it's funny, if you don't mind, and then we'll close out because we're getting a little bit long here.
Yeah, so you had to leave an hour ago.
Yeah, so the other day, someone came in a chat and did that same annoying thing that drives me nuts, where they say, they're not equalizing it because they're afraid of class balance. It'll reveal class balance being bad, which is just stupid, right? But whatever. So I did this little, like I did a little bit where I did like this fake voice where I basically was saying like, I don't understand how you could come in here and tell me that that's why they're not doing it when 100% of their feedback all the time is just complaining about class balance. Every single day, someone comes into chat, someone hops on one of the forums, someone goes into the Reddit and is like, Moose is not good enough. Musa got nerfed, or why isn't Zerker getting nerfed, or how come Suck Kuno is the way it is? Blah 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 blah. And I was doing a bit
you're
talking
literally
about that.
just quoting Musassin. Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop bullying.
Well, it's a bunch of people that do it, right? So I was quoting that. I was saying my point in the clip. It was on that Pistanity, the clip show thing that they do. Got put in there. That's where you saw it, Invasion. And the point of my bit in that clip was to point out that people already complain about class balance. So to not release it because of class balance doesn't make any sense. And this is someone's comment in regards to that clip. He says, "Look who is talking now, dude." I'm going to read it as he actually said it. He says, "Look who is taking now, dude." And he does eyes. Frosty, the man who was crying on every stream about Lon and Musa, now he activate honk honk mode and called us crying community because we complaining about Zerker and his invisible class Kuno. He literally didn't understand what I was saying at all and just embarrassed himself with this comment. This comment doesn't even address what I'm talking about in the clip. He literally is talking about something completely different. Which, by the way, prior, if you actually watched the stream where the clip came from, literally right before, I said, I know Suck Kuno needs to be nerfed. I know Suck Zerker needs to be nerfed. I've advocated for Suck Kuno to be nerfed 1,000,000 times. And this is his comment. Revens, you're a dumb, dumb man. That's all.
Frosty using his platform to harass users. All right.
That comment actually made me feel really sad for that person. That was his takeaway, you know? I felt bad. I actually did.
Yeah. Well, what are you going to do?
But
grabs are still way too powerful.
But
how are you supposed to counter them?
I do also appreciate him coming into all of my streams where I'm complaining about Lon and Musa and always being there to support me. So I do like that too.
Hey, he's probably subbed.
He might be subbed. At worst, he was gifted a sub, you know?
If he's in chat right now and he's not subbed, I'll gift him one. Yeah, I don't know. I think, obviously, I don't know. What can be said at this point that hasn't already been said? Like, yeah, man, Zerker's broken. Yeah, man, Kuno's really obnoxious. Range damage is insane. Also, like, I don't know. Whatever. We're not in charge of balance. All we can do is, like, agree and try to, like, separate that from other discussions.
Every day I see someone else crying about Deathblade and Lost Ark, and guess what? They still have equalized arenas. It's very interesting. Every day
Yeah,
someone's complaining about Gunslinger. They still have equalized arenas. Someone's complaining that supports are too strong. They still have equalized arenas.
Well, Gunslinger's busted because of that fucking freeze.
It's everything about Gunslinger's busted.
That freeze is the main thing that annoys the shit out of me. I don't have a freeze. Why does that guy have a freeze? It's busted as hell. What the fuck?
You have an earthquake. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Bullshit. Earthquake is not nearly as good as that freeze.
Wait, why?
Well, first of all, the freeze is ranged.
That's true.
Also, the earthquake doesn't CC for as long as the freeze does. And there's an opportunity for them to get out of it, I think, as well. If you time your space at the right moment, I believe you can get out of earthquake. There's no opportunity for you to get out of freeze.
I forget. Does earthquake put you on the ground? Yeah, earthquake is a hard CC. I think the problem with freeze is that you can't you not re-CC or re-knock up on freeze until the freeze wears off? Or what is like the rule with freeze? It has some other rule in that game. Yeah, earthquake is literally a stun, which is just a hard CC, which functions similarly to freeze. So it should be the same. If you're running like domination, I guess your freeze or your earthquake can last longer. Freeze can't be chained while they are frozen, right? So I think both are really good. I would argue earthquake is better, although that skill in particular does have range, which makes it good. I think more busted is the stupid sharpshooter fucking electrocute that is like covers half the arena. But that's just me.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. That freeze just annoys me. Annoys me to no end. It feels very lawn grab-esque.
Yeah, that's what I always say. I always laugh when it's like, LOL, this game doesn't... Like, this game's so nice that it doesn't have grabs. Like, yeah, except for every hard CC is basically a grab. This is no way to defend against it, except for your
also,
spacebar.
The lawn grab is literally in the game. It's just on a class nobody plays.
Wait, what class does no one play?
Gunlance.
Gunlet, dude. Yeah, but that thing is also... You can avoid that with most, like, mid-tier protections. Like push immunity.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm
but
pretty
it's
sure it's
literally
just
lawn grab. It's a conal AoE range grapple. It's literally what it is.
I'm pretty sure you can auto attack to avoid that, or maybe you have to have paralysis immunity. But it's a push. Is it a push? The range chain grab thing? I thought it counted technically as a stagger. I'm pretty sure it's a stagger. I think you only need paralysis immunity. I don't even think you need push immunity for that. Yeah, that skill, though, when you do get yoinked, it feels bad. Oh, it feels real bad. Anyway, that's the show. I gotta head out.
Yeah.
Nayash, do you have any closing thoughts? Oh, okay.
Nayashi had to leave.
Okay.
Did you actually not know that, or did you do that?
I didn't. It was half and half. It works both ways.
Yeah, he had to take off some IRL
Brez,
stuff.
do you see Musassin in chat?
I don't, and I don't want to look.
All right. He basically wants another hard CC. He's asking for another hard CC. He wants a grab, basically. Moose version of a grab. Short podcast. That's right. Short podcast. 3 hours and 2 minutes. Pretty good. All right, Rez, close this out. Yep.
To be fair, you complaining about Lost Ark went a really long time.
No, I did. No, it did not. If you actually segment the whole thing, that was like the smallest portion of the podcast.
Maybe,
it's just because you weren't participating, because you refused to enhance. So you can't participate. Even though
Why would I
to
want to enhance when you guys talk about it like this?
Well, where you're at, that part's easy, all right?
All right, let's get out of here. Thanks everybody for listening. Check out the links for Twitch streams and all that stuff. Thank you to all the subscribers and the patrons as well, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. We'll catch y'all next week. Have a good one.